The Wicked Wednesday has begun. Let's roll. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. From Costa Rica to California, Montreal to Minnesota. Let's rage. The late night anger management class. As we are off and running. Wednesdays means one thing. Babano steps up and in this evening. We've got a late night tonight as far as late night action is concerned. We've got a hockey game that's just starting right now. I like the Coyotes on the puck line. The Coyotes are actually playing well right now. Everybody and their sister is going to be on the Las Vegas Golden Knights this evening. Yet sometimes you got to shake things up a little bit if you're feeling a little risque, I should say, this evening. The Coyotes could be worth a look, plus a puck and a half. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost in a shootout or an overtime or something like that. Can't always just bet on the favorite now, can we? Now, North Texas. North Texas is kicking the shit right now out of the San Francisco Dons, and that's a good thing because we went pretty big on North Texas, the Mean Green, this evening. We've been telling people all the time, man, the CBI Finals, it always goes 3 games, and, the home team wins the first game. The home team wins the second game, and then it goes back to the side of the first game, and then now San Francisco will probably win on Friday night. I'll be interested to see what the number is in that basketball game. We like this game to get to the over as well, but it's not going to happen. Once again, like these two teams, they started off strong, but then they started to slow down. Lakers tonight. I just sort of assumed that the Lakers and the Mavericks game was going to be the one on TV tonight, but it's not. I got Boston and Utah right now. I like Boston. Boston have been playing well despite all the injuries, and then Al Horford gets scratched right before the fucking game. It's almost to the point now where I'm not even going to give like NBA picks anymore. Like it's fucking ridiculous. I'm tired of it. You give a pick in the afternoon. I got to get picks in the afternoon. I'm on the radio and stuff, and I'm giving picks, but the fucking lineups aren't fucking set. We do a DFS show every night at fucking 6:45. Oh, this guy's scratched. This guy's in. It's ridiculous. And this fucking league, these guys want 1 fucking % for a fucking gambling integrity motherfucking fee. Are you kidding me? You have no integrity. There is integrity. What integrity? Fucking mob bookies have more integrity than the NBA does. Integrity. Like, shorten the fucking season. Like, I'm dead serious right now. Like, shorten the season. Because this bullshit happens every year. Actually, this year hasn't been as bad as in past years because the NBA actually does find teams pretty good. But whatever, man. It's like the Raptors did the other night. They just said, oh, DeRozan's hurt. And then the next night, he's magically okay again. Like, you got to shorten the season. It's too long. Like, every year, it's pretty clear. Like, you guys, the NBA sort of hits the wall at, like, game 65 or so, Look, LeBron James said that he thinks it should be a fucking, like a 53-game season. Yeah, easy for you to say, LeBron. Are you going to take a pay cut? What do you want people to pay, like, 53% more money? That's the thing. It's give and take a little bit, but it's too many games, but when you get to the end of the season right now, they fucking mail it in. Like half these teams are G League teams right now. It's like you're paying NBA prices for G League teams. It's some teams not their fault. The Boston Celtics, everybody gets fucking hurt every day. Well, the Celtics can't help it. But the NBA season is just too long. It's too long. Like it's this roller coaster. Teams just sort of pray that nobody gets hurt right now at this time of the year. Like, we talk about, like, hockey and the NHL being a tough sport and the physicality of it, and it is. But don't kid yourself. Playing 82 NBA games in the span that they play them in isn't a lot of fun. I can't even play pickup basketball right now. My knees would hurt, fuck. Yeah, these guys are young and they're in shape and shit, but the NBA schedule is a pretty grueling one, man. I mean, for fuck's sakes, the Pelicans played 6 games in 8 days last week. That's ridiculous. And it was really 5 games in 8 days. They had 1 game. It was a postponement because their fucking ghetto ass fucking roof leaked before. So they had a rain out, fuck. So they had to squeeze it in last week. But come on, man. They're professional athletes. You got them fucking playing. We don't even run our horse that fucking much. It's like you're running these guys out here 6 times in 8 nights, and you want to talk about integrity of the fucking league? Yeah, like that's not even an advantage for the fucking teams that are playing them, right? And other teams in their division. Shorten the season. Shorten the season. It's a different era now. Exactly. It's like Brooks is saying. Before, the average center was Luke Longley and Bill Wennington. Now your average center is Dwight Howard. Like, it's not the same, man. You can, and another thing is too, there's a lot of contact in basketball. Like, don't kid yourself. Like, the only reason that they call basketball the way that they do right now is because, number one, half the fucking league would shoot each other in the parking lot after games. They're fucking nut jobs. You can't have basketball players going off and shit. It's going to lead to disaster, right? They're too big. Hockey's one thing. Guys throw a couple of punches. It's only a couple of dudes. But half the dudes in the NBA are pretty unbalanced as it is. So, like, you don't want to start giving them leeway. Like, don't think for a second if NBA players couldn't fucking punch you in the back of the head that they wouldn't do it. Right? They would do it, but they know, oh, fuck, if I do this, I'm going to lose a lot of money, fuck, right? Yeah, the season's just too long. Look, Major League Baseball, it's funny because baseball is 162 games, but I don't think the baseball season is too long. I think it has a natural progression to it, but baseball wants to reduce it to like 153 games. That's what the NBA should do as well. You got to take baby steps. And basically what you do is, I hate to say it, but you charge more for playoff tickets and you add a playoff fucking series and shit. There's got to be a give and take in this, right? So you basically say, listen, we're going to play we're going to play 8 less games. It'll actually add up in the end. It'll take off 2 weeks of the season. Or 3 weeks in a season, etc. We're going to take off 8 games, and we'll have a little fucking wild card to play in, and we'll get more playoff revenue from the network, and we'll split the revenue. There's ways to do it, but you can only go so far before. I mean, like I said, LeBron James is bitching about the season being too long. Well, it's like, dude, you make fucking $40 million a year. Are you going to take $28 million, and if we shorten the season, or do you want to make the fans pay up the ass? Yeah. It's not like AC Green played well in 1,192 games. That's because AC Green fucking refused the pussy on the road. Settle down, Ty Rich. How you doing, Tim Anderson? It's the same thing. It's the same thing as baseball. Baseball's a fucking grind, man. People think, oh, baseball's easy. Baseball's a fucking grind. I was the host of a post-game show, and it was a fucking grind. It pissed me off, man. They're relentless. The baseball schedule is relentless. Like, it just doesn't end, fuck. like they get days off, like one every fucking 21 days, man. Like I said, I was the post-game show host, so I knew, like, I did every fucking Expo game, man. I was like, holy shit, fuck, man. Like, I spoke to a player about it. Like, I told the dude, I was fucking Brian Schneider, the catcher. I said, I don't know how you crouch down every day, fuck. I said, I'm hosting the fucking show up in the booth every day, and I'm fucking sick of this shit. He started cracking up. He's like, yeah. He goes, I'm kind of numb to it. Like, Like, just think about doing anything 162 times in a row. You know what I mean? Like, you're going out there, you're standing, you're running to first base, you're leaning over, you're running for balls, you're falling into the fucking wall. You got jerk offs fucking sliding cleat first into you. The only ones that have it pretty easy are the relief pitchers. Now, let's not over glamorize their, they got it pretty easy. Fuck. They fucking sit in the bullpen all day, chew on sunflower seeds, look at hot chicks in the stands, and throw the ball fucking once every 3 days. There are some good jobs in sports. I think like the best job in sport is being one of the stiffs at the end of an NBA bench. You know, you get like $1.8 million. You never play. You don't have to do anything. you don't even take the warm-up suit off. You just sit there. You know, in a close game, you sort of stand up. You look interested in the huddle. When a player is hot, you come out and high-five him. Good job, Damian Lillard. Fucking right. You're a professional cheerleader. You don't do anything. Exactly, like Adam Morrison. You just sit there at the end, man. You're just there. It's like, well, what are you getting paid for? You're there to practice. You're there because you're good enough to stand around and practice and sort of be a pylon for the star players. Like, that's your gig. You know what I mean? Your gig is to show up to practice, be engaged in practice. Like, that's what you get paid for. You get paid to work in practice, to fucking push the other players. You're like a fluffer. You're like a porn fluffer. You know what I mean? You're there. You're just there to keep the other players' dicks hard. Yeah, but backup quarterback's good. You're right. Backup quarterback's good, but you get exposed as a backup quarterback. You got to get out there, and it's like, oh, shit, everyone now knows I suck. When you're one of these NBA stiff dudes at the end of the bench, you can last like 12 years in the fucking league and never touch the floor. Fuck. Yeah, of course, Portland. I tell you, I'm never laying points ever again. I didn't even like that. The 2 fucking games that I add, Orlando. Whenever I add shit, I fucking lose. $54-48 right now, Sam Houston State and Northern Colorado. The Bears are up on the Bearcats. We're on the over and we're on the dog in this game. The Coyotes have already scored 1-0. We told you the Coyotes was the play tonight, plus a puck and a half. North Texas up 67-53 with 1 minute remaining. They're going to cover. The game's going to stay under the number. Memphis are up 106-103 on Portland right now with 16 seconds remaining. We like the Boston Celtics getting the points. They're down 32-30 right now. They're getting 9.5. Major League Baseball set to begin tomorrow. It was enjoyable talking baseball last night with Mark Lathrop. We'll see what Babano has come up with. We've got some baseball futures for you. We've been talking a lot of baseball over the last couple of days. Let's send the link to Babano. This is a case of bad timing on this one. We got a message from Taylor Stevens. She had so much fun doing the show in the Circus. She asked me, what are you doing Saturday night? We're thinking of doing a thing at my place with Sonny, and we can redo the Circus March Madness party at my condo, which would be a good time. Saturday night party at Taylor Stevens' condo. But I'm going to be in Montreal this weekend. So whatever I do in Montreal better equalize this. But I told Taylor I'll hold you to this. We'll do a show at your place. We'll do a show at your place when the NBA playoffs start. Now, Montreal is like the worst place to be for fucking March Madness too, for the Final Four. But it is what it is. I was pre-committed. There's no turning back. Montreal's a great party town, though. I just won't get the basketball game in my hotel room. I'll have to watch it on a stream. Yeah, we wish Taylor Stevens and her dog the best. Now, as far as the Final Four is concerned, Babana will join us in a moment or two. And we'll talk about these Final Four games. The Shady Montreal Casino is the first place I'm going to. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Right from the train station, right to the casino. No. We're going to try to stay away from that motherfucking money pit. Like only an idiot would describe to you what a treacherous money pit that place is. And then go there, which, you know, I could probably end up doing, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stay away. I'm going to try to stay away. I don't know. I think we should bet on this right now. I think we should set a line on this. Will I go to the Montreal casino? I'll be honest, too. Like, if I go, I'll tell you after, yeah, I went. What do you guys set the number at? What do you think? Corrente says minus 900 that I go. Yes is plus. I like your style, Henry. I was going to say that it's minus 200 that I don't go. I don't go to the casino all that often. Look, I don't live in Montreal anymore. I'm from there, but I haven't lived there in a while. And basically out of like the last 10 times I've been to Montreal, actually, it's not a good barometer because I was going to Montreal in bad circumstances. I wasn't really in the mood for a casino trip, but I don't go to the casino all the time when I go to Montreal. So I only go to the casino if I'm really fucking wasted. And it's like 3 in the morning and I'm still like fired up and shit like that. I've been known to do that. Drew says, I'm going to go just to get a look. Just to get a look. Yeah, I'm just going to go get a look at the casino. I like that. I'm just going to go and see what, yeah, I like it. I'm just going to go see what it looks like. See if there's any new restaurants or anything like that at the casino. Like I said, listen, normally we wouldn't talk negatively about going to a casino. Like if we were talking about the Park Casino in Vancouver, then we'd say, hey, I can't wait to go to Park Casino. But we're talking about hell on fucking earth. All right? Like, I don't know, how many square feet? Somebody please tell me how many square feet the Casino de Montreal is. It's like 78,000 square feet of hell. Like it burns your feet. It burns your and you know what's crazy? The place that they fucking built it, it's in a fucking pavilion from the fucking Expo. That's why the Montreal Expos are called the Expos. They wanted to be called the Royals, but the Kansas City Royals were bastards and they copyrighted it first, even though the Montreal Royals existed first. But the Expo, the World Expo Fair, the World Fair, the Expo, was in Montreal, all right, in 1967. And they built all these pavilions and shit. And that's what the casino is. I think it's like the fucking France pavilion or something. But there was a massive fucking fire and shit. That whole island creeps me out. When I was a fucking kid, man, I was in one of those fucking things. That whole island, man. Stay away, man. You're better off like fucking gambling in a casino in fucking Haiti, like with the voodoo masters. Like you go to the voodoo masters in the fucking fire and they got fucking skulls around their necks and shit like that. You got a better chance fucking winning there. Great F1 place. Let's bring in Babano. Ian Cameron. What's going on, Babano?
Are you going to the Expo Fair? Wasn't that Expo 67 or something that Montreal Casino was built off or something?
Yeah, that's what I just said, Babano. Yeah,
exactly. So that's talking about an old place.
Yeah, Expo 67. The entire island is man-made. 526,000 square feet. Motherfuck, that's pretty big.
You'll find your way into that building.
Gaming floor, says Thunderwing. Holy shit. That's a pretty big fucking gaming floor.
It's still a casino, last I checked, though. So that means you will be in there probably this weekend when you're visiting.
No, the Casino of Montreal fucking sucks.
All
the tables are full. Everybody looks like they want to fucking jump off the bridge. It's a depressing place, man. Except, where people are setting odds of whether I'm going to go there or not.
You know what's funny is we were at the Vancouver Casino, the Park Casino downtown, beautiful new building, brand new. Everybody's having a good time, dressed to the nines, dressed to kill, having a good time, smiling everywhere. So you're saying the Montreal Casino is basically the polar opposite of that?
Well, I don't know if everybody in Vancouver, we had a good time at the casino in Vancouver. I guarantee you there were some people that weren't having a good time.
Yeah, the ones getting raped and losing their ass. That's who.
It's like a Vegas casino, though. It's the same thing. I mean, yeah, for all the people that are high-fiving and dancing and drinking, there's people that are getting fucking crushed. The casino in Montreal's not that much out of the way. So Tim Anderson says he's a fan. He's a fan of the Montreal casino. Listen, it's a nice building. It's a nice place. It's not a dump. It's a nice building, nice casino and stuff. It's just the Montreal casino, like I said, they don't give you free drinks. They can't do that in Canada, but there's no free drinks. The atmosphere is very hustlerish. It's very, listen, hurry up and lose your money and jump off the bridge because we got a lot of other people waiting in line to lose the money. Like They really like shake you down and get you out like in that place. Fucking yeah. Have I ever been to the Caesars in Windsor? No, I haven't.
You have like a 2 minutes allowance where you can't be playing at a table or a slot machine or something. And then if you're not playing within 2 minutes, hey, find something or else you're out of here.
Yeah. You don't have a funeral home there. It says there a funeral home. No, what do you think? They have funerals in a casino? No,
that's when you know a casino's got some issues, yeah.
Why no free drinks in casinos in Canada? Because the casinos in Canada are owned by the government. And the government are cocksuckers. Don't want to give you free anything. That's another thing too, Reckless. You're right. Like people, because the government thinks like Canada is a very nanny type place, right? So they're like, all right, we'll have casinos, but we're not going to give people alcohol because then they might gamble too much. But we'll sell them alcohol if they want to pay for it, right? Like, that's the mentality there of those the casinos in Canada. So, Babano, I don't know what you did, Babano, but I left you with the camera and the computer the other day for a couple of minutes. I come back and everyone's like, "Yeah, Babano got controversial again." What would you do, Babano?
I can't even remember. I don't know. What did I say? I don't remember saying anything odd, that peculiar. I know
I said
sometimes
I defended you. I said that you were your normal self, but I don't know. I don't know. People were talking Babano after.
Yeah, people making up stories again, I think.
I don't.
The bigger issue is what happened to Al here at the end of the night. I mean, right before I left was that whole situation where Al, where the hell did he go? You got this beer, it's just sitting there, it's full. Who's going to drink it? Who's going to pay for it?
Oh, Al, yeah, Al, yeah, Al. Yeah, Al had my phone in his pocket later in the night too.
I heard that the other show Monday night. I think
randomly called my phone looking for my phone, and it rings in Al's pocket.
You got to ask him, what are you doing with this? Can I ask you that? Is it okay?
What's that?
Did you ask him, what are you doing with that exactly? And why is it in your pocket?
Yeah, I was a little perplexed. He's lucky. Al has a very likable face, though. And he's got a cool name, Al. So, it's hard to stay mad at Al. Our phones did look similar, but yeah, it was adding up, man, from Al leaving the bar to fucking Al having my phone. I mean, yeah, if there's one more coincidence, then, it's almost like O.J. Simpson and the bloody glove, and it's just a coincidence that Nicole's blood was in fucking the Bronco.
It's like Seinfeld. How could it be a coincidence? There's not one coincidence or another coincidence, just coincidences. Yeah.
Another big coincidence.
Big coincidence, small coincidences. Yeah.
There's no big coincidence. There's just coincidences. See, there's a coincidence or not a coincidence. There is no such thing as a big.
Yeah.
I'll disagree on that. I think there is a big coincidence.
That killed me, that whole scene.
Like The Simpsons. The truth. There's the truth and the truth. There's two different types of truth. Now, Al's a good guy. Everybody got pretty wasted. Look, Babano was so drunk, he doesn't even remember what he said.
Exactly. Everybody had a good time. A few drinks in them. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, I give Al credit. He had this nice long little note on Twitter to send it to you, me, a bunch of people saying, I've been tailing people's picks for too long, not doing my own thinking, my own research, my own work. I'm going to start doing my own picks from now on. So I give Al credit. He's turning over a new leaf, not tailing anybody anymore. He's taking care of his own business. Good luck with that, Al.
It cost him too much money. That's why
we've been losing too much for the poor guy.
All the terrible gambler talk got to him. Now, Al's a good guy. I didn't realize that. Send me his Twitter, so I'll start following Al if I'm not already following Al. Yeah, Al's a good guy. All right. So as far as the game's going on right now, the North Texas game's finally over. Ooh. Northern Colorado starting to pull away a little bit from Sam Houston State. We got the points and the over in this game. Over sailing over right now. You can never guarantee anything with these fucking games, but 72-59 for Northern Colorado right now. Of course, we told you we're on the Boston Celtics plus the points. It's amazing. Look, no Al Horford, no Kyrie Irving. Doesn't matter. They're up 48-39 right now. The crazy-ass twisted NBA that it is. All right, Dallas Mavericks and the LA Lakers going off the board right now, Babano. This is no lock. It's a stupid league right now. It's a dumb time of the year. But I get the feeling that this game's going to be a free-flowing, up-and-down game. I think it's going to go over the number. The Dallas Mavericks literally don't give a shit. Like, they're only fucking just shooting. They don't play defense. They don't give a shit. The only thing is they are shit. So, like, the Mavericks can give you 106, 108. That's what I'm thinking. Like, they can get us 105 points or so. This game should go over the number. But the Mavericks do have these nights where they'll only score like 94 points and stuff like that. They're fucking terrible. But there's the one game on the board right now. I think it goes over 215.5 points.
Yeah, I figured you'd be on over in this game. You usually like overs in basketball, and but the thing is, can you trust Dallas? Is the question. I think that's a great spot to bet against Dallas, but unfortunately, it's not a great spot to bet on the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers are in that first game home. They had a really long road trip. It didn't exactly end well. You know, a lot of miles they traveled. Now they're back home. This is not the optimal spot for the Lakers, but the Mavericks could be bad, just that bad that the Lakers can still end up maybe blowing them out. I was looking to bet LA, but I didn't love the spot and didn't love -8, so I stayed away from it.
Oh, it's an ugly game.
It's ugly. Oh yeah.
It's an ugly one.
You're taking your life into your hands betting this game right now. I can tell you that. Side or total.
That's a little extreme. I don't know. No one's dying if they bet this game.
Taking your betting bankroll into your hands there.
No, you know what you're doing if you're betting on this game? You're gambling. That's what you're doing.
That's right.
Some games you're investing.
Your risk tolerance is high, yes.
Betting on this Mavericks-Lakers game, on the under, on the over, on the Mavericks, or on the Lakers is essentially like playing roulette wheel.
Yeah.
You know, it could come up. Like, you know, it's sort of like Sacramento and Dallas. These teams that play each other. It could be the ugliest fucking game of all time. It could be 121 fucking 118 and kind of entertaining and nobody gives a shit and plays defense. The Lakers could smoke them. The Mavericks could fucking lose by 2. Fuck. Like, it's an ugly ass game. And so is the Phoenix Clippers game, in which is tonight, upset city night tonight. Phoenix Suns are a gutless motherfucking team. Guys, they're plus 310 right now on the money line.
I know people that have been, you know, going against these tanking teams left and right for weeks on end. We're talking about the Suns, the Knicks, the Magic, the Mavericks. You can throw them all into that mix. There's more than that too, but you got to be careful because the point spread is a great equalizer, and we're starting to see some of these. The point spread start to catch up with some of these teams. Look at Memphis now. They go in and beat Minnesota as a double-digit underdog the other night, and here they are winning outright against Portland tonight, 108-103. I mean, where's this come from all of a sudden? This is the same Grizzlies team that, lost to 60 to Charlotte a week ago? So, again, you got to be careful. You can't blindly bet against the tanking teams. The point spreads are catching up to these teams nightly.
Yeah. Look at the Raptors. Raptors are a fade right now because of the spreads. Come on, they should have been 8.5-point favorites the other day against the Clippers. Hey, we lost Babano. He's gone. He's gone, man. Surprisingly, here's Babano. What's going on, Babano? We lost you.
Yeah, I know. Camera just had a little blackout for a second there, but we're back.
Yeah, somebody with as many technical difficulties as I have, I can't call you out for it.
No, it's been good. The stream's been fine. If I've been cutting out, doesn't look like it. It just went black for a sec.
No, I don't know. All this shit's random, dude.
It's Google Hangouts.
I don't know. Yeah, there's someone
flying by the seat of our pants every time we use this fucking.
Good call by Nick. Did someone ring the doorbell? You got to go get the door. You didn't tell us.
No doorbell this time. No one's allowed to ring my doorbell this time of night.
Still don't understand why you did that, but
that's old story, old news.
I've never seen anyone get up in the middle of an interview to get the door. That's like you're waiting for a drug dealer or something like that. That's really important. Can I explain the other waiter who worked with Goldman that was also killed and 2 others who went missing? I don't know what you're talking about. Who went missing? Who's who? All right. Tim Anderson, fucking stop causing soda issues and debates here. Sunkiss.
Pepsi versus Coke. We did that last week. Got to move on now.
I don't mind orange sodas. I'm not a huge fan of it, though. C+, Crush, they're all the same.
I really like C+, actually. Crush especially, yeah.
What's your point, John Owasu? What do you say? Did O.J. Simpson set up? I don't know what you're getting at. What, you think it's a big fucking conspiracy? What, George Soros and Hillary Clinton? the Goldmans were international drug dealers and got whacked by a Mexican cartel. Is that what you're trying to tell me? All right. So what is it? Still 1-0 right now. See, I was going to say, guys, the Phoenix Suns, they're 34-32. They're up right now. They're plus 360 on the money line. It's one of these deals where, like, a broken clock is right twice a day. You figure that at some fucking point, the Phoenix Suns are going to shock the world and win a basketball game outright. Like, in the last 20 games, like, how many games have they won? I want to take them right now because they're plus 330. Can they actually do it? They're up by 4. I mean, got to take a chance sometimes, Babano.
I wouldn't argue with that. I think, the Clippers are not exactly a team that night in, night out. They've had a lot of good games against tough competition lately too. Clippers have played Milwaukee and Toronto, and they've been tested with a lot of good teams. This is a letdown for the Clippers when you're going on the road and facing the lowly Suns. I sure don't trust them at this point tonight. This could be one of those games where they just mail it in. Although they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that. They still have a outside chance at sneaking into a playoff spot, but I don't think they'll make it in the end.
They haven't won in a long time. they haven't won in a long fucking time. Let's see. How many of the games have they lost in a row here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They've lost 12 games in a row. Fucking before that, holy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the last 22 games, they've won twice. They beat the Dallas Mavericks and they beat the Memphis Grizzlies.
So you're going against 2-19 straight up right there. There you go. In the last 21.
I know. Maybe the plus 300 is not enough. It's down to plus 310 right now.
I'd wait it out. Yeah, I agree. Plus 300, not enough. Just not tantalizing enough. Not value enough. That's got to rise a little bit. For me, anyway, it would have to.
It would be nice to hit it, though. It would be nice. It'd be nice to hit it. All right, the Boston Celtics and the Utah Jazz right now. Utah Jazz really being held offensively here. Utah only scored 39 points in the first half. So the Boston Celtics are winning 48-39. They're up by 9 points, and the Utah Jazz are favored by 11 in the second half. And the over-under is 101.5. What do you think of the second half, Roberto?
I would only take Utah because this is the Celtics now at the end of a long road trip. I give them credit for what they've done. They're 3-0 on this road trip, some good wins, just battling injuries, locked into the 2 seed too. Let's be honest. I mean, they're locked into this 2 seed. They're not going to move up. So really, where's the motivation come from? And yet you're seeing them give good effort, good heart, night in, night out. Terry Rozier's come in here lately for this Celtics team, been great shooting the basketball for them. He's been fantastic recently for the Celtics. To me, I want to back Utah, though, second half. I think they're going to get this offense going a bit, tune their defense up a little bit. They're usually good, better defensively second half in a spot like this. So I like Utah, but I don't know if I want to lay 11. That's a lot. I think it's taxed a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, so it means they got to win the game by 3 points now.
But I could see Boston hitting a little bit of a wall here in this second half. In the thin air. It's been a nice road trip. I could see Utah making a run here. I can. I'd only take Utah second half.
All right, NIT Finals tomorrow, Babano. Penn State and Utah. Penn State, Nittany Lions, 4-point favorites, over under 134.5 tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern.
I'm more and more interested with Utah the more this line climbs. I mean, what has Utah done or to basically make people want to just it's people seeing what happened last night. It's the what did you do for me last? What did I watch last theory in full effect here, really? Because Penn State opened -3, it's up to -4. People saw Penn State just crush Mississippi State in the second semifinal last night, where Utah was in a back and forth grinder. Pulled one out close against Western Kentucky. People impressed with Penn State for what they did. And I know they played in the MSG at the Big Ten tournament a few weeks ago. People used that angle last night, that they're more familiar with the sight lines and the surroundings than maybe Mississippi State was. It's not going to be the case tomorrow night. Utah now is at a game underneath their belt. They're playing good defense too right now. Kraskowiak and that team has played really good defensively. Their offense is really perked up in this tournament. They're making their shots. They're making their three-pointers. I see a close game, and I think Utah's got every bit the chance to win this one. So I'll grab all the points I can get, let this line rise, and take Utah at its highest price point.
I can't disagree. In a toss-up game, as you mentioned, Utah have done nothing to make you not want to take them getting the points here right now. All right, so we got Tim Anderson in the house, full millennial vintage soda. Well, we'll get Tim Anderson's Final Four picks in a minute here as well. So let's jump into the Final Four right now. And for the record, looking at Phoenix's fucking roster tonight, it's hard to want to take them, man. Basically, everybody's out tonight. Their lineup is essentially Daniels, Harrison, Chris, Dudley, Reed, Ulis, Josh Jackson, Alan Williams, and Bender. As tempted as I was to pull the trigger and grab the Phoenix Suns on the money line, we just can't do it. The Clippers should be able to come back and win this basketball game. All right, Final Four. Saturday night, Michigan and Loyola Chicago are the first ones up. We got some line movement here. Michigan now up to 5.5, Babano. I guess it opened at 6.5 somewhere. I didn't really see it like there. It last very long. I think it was Bet Online, and then it settled in at 5. Now back up to 5.5. Total 129.5.
Yeah, this Final Four is I love this Final Four. I really do. I love the 4 teams that are in it. I like the 2 semifinals we've got. Just from a viewing standpoint, Loyola and Michigan, 2 extremely well-coached teams. I like Porter Moser's done a fantastic job. He's done a great job coaching this team. We know John Beilein's one of the best coaches going. It's going to be a great tactical battle of the brains, I guess you could say, going into this game. Because both of these teams, the one thing I've noticed, they're always well prepared, especially with extra time to get ready for a game. Moser's been good in that role. We know Beilein's been good in that role. From a side perspective, damn, it's difficult. It really, really is. Because to me, Michigan is finally a team that's going to be able to match wits with Loyola Chicago in terms of coaching and how they run their offense. Miami, a little scattershot on offense. Tennessee, a little bit scattershot. Even in previous games that Kansas State, not a great offensive team by any stretch that Loyola faced. Michigan will be that. And remember, last time Michigan came off a clunker of a shooting effort in the first weekend, they had that extra time to regroup, tweak the offense against A&M going into that game, and they came out shooting the lights out against the Yankees. So I think Michigan off a clunker of an offensive game, Gabe. We saw it in person at Shoeless Joe's on Saturday night. That was not good offense for most of that game for Michigan, but they relied on their defense, came through for them to get past Florida State, and they did enough on the defensive end to get by. I think they're going to be better offensively. I think Loyola Chicago is going to score too. I know Michigan's defense has been great, but Michigan hasn't played a team that moves the ball like Loyola does, that passes, that is unselfish, that has inside-outside balance. Krautwein, DeAndre Evans can score inside. They've got Custer on the outside. Richardson, who lit it up against Kansas State on that perimeter as well. So the way I'm looking at it, I don't love the side in this game. I think Michigan wins. It could be close. They could barely cover the number. I think it's a great number. It's right where it should be. I'm going to make a case for the over. I know it's a low number, 129.5. These are 2 teams. They're not going to push the pace. I understand that. They're both very good defensively as well. But I think there's going to be enough efficiency at the offensive end for both of these teams. We could squeak it over that 129.5.
I agree with you. Figure Michigan's going to get into the 70s, and Loyola Chicago gets into the mid-60s. I think it's a bad stylistic matchup for Loyola Chicago. You look at the teams that Loyola Chicago played, the Miami Hurricanes, no real natural point guard, a bunch of kids, one-and-doners, and, they're not the most offensively fluid and rhythmic team to begin with, the Miami Hurricanes, especially without their leading scorer who is out. They got Tennessee, who are a really raw team. Fuck. Tennessee, the best thing Tennessee does is dunk. All right? They're an athletic team, raw team, not very good ball handlers. Nevada are just a Mountain West team. Nevada, that was a nice win for them against Nevada, but Nevada are a horrific defensive basketball team. Kansas State are a decent team, but offensively challenged. This is sort of the first real complete team that they've played. And you mentioned it, Beeline, Michigan are very fundamental, right? And Loyola Chicago really don't do anything fancy, man. They're setting screens. They're running picks and rolls. And Nevada and Kansas State seem confused by it for one reason or another. They were like, what's this pick and roll? Michigan runs picks and rolls and stuff. Like, we're not going to be confused by anything Loyola Chicago does. We got better athletes. Michigan will win and cover this basketball game.
Yeah, I've been on Loyola Chicago every game except the Nevada game because I legitimately thought they could lose that game against the Wolfpack. They didn't. I came right back on them against Kansas State after taking them with Miami and Tennessee. But I will not put a bet in my pocket if it means going against a team coached by John Beilein with this extra amount of time to get ready. I mean, we've seen it over and over again with John Beilein as a coach. We saw it against the A&M with that Sunday to Thursday turnaround or Saturday to Thursday turnaround following the first weekend. Look at the way Michigan came out and just blitzed Texas A&M in that game. That's just something I won't do. I mean, he's been that good with that extra amount of time to get a team ready for a basketball game, especially a big one like this. And there's also that concern that maybe the stage is just a little too bright for Loyola Chicago. Because remember, South Carolina, Frank Martin's team last year in the Final Four, magical run. Obviously, they're a power conference team, not a mid-major like Loyola, but comparable in the fact that neither of these teams were expected to get this far, get this deep. Here they are, and South Carolina sort of ran out of gas, hit a wall, tapped out in the Final Four, in the semifinal on the Saturday. Maybe that happens here to Loyola. That's a minor little concern I do have for the Ramblers in this game.
Yeah, I saw the kid on, I guess the cluster kid was talking about, he knows that people are talking about them and people are going crazy at the school and stuff, but he said that they don't see it. He basically said, we don't really watch TV. We're practicing. We don't all have TVs. We kind of see, it's like, I check my phone for social media a bit, but, we're so busy and there's so many team, events and functions that we don't, we're kind of in a bubble. The thing is now, like you said, Babano, now they're out of that bubble. You know what I mean? Like before, they're all focused. The outside world's blocked out. Like, how many of these kids got their fucking dick sucked this week, right? just thinking out right out of the blue. How many of these kids got laid this week? How many of them said, oh, no, I got to be like a boxer and not do this right now because I'm playing basketball. These guys, like some dude, if you're on Loyola Chicago, how many times, like, some hot chick on campus fucking gave you a dirty look? Now you're in the Final Four. She's blowing you in the fucking bushes. Right? Like suddenly everything's changed. You're on campus. You're a big star. Everyone's kissing your fucking ass. You start thinking, fuck, you know what? We're actually pretty good. And so it'll be interesting to see, you're right, if they can keep their focus, on the prize right now, because it always happens, man. Shit, fame can go to people's heads pretty fast. Look at Sister Jean, man. She's already out of control. Bigger ego than Justin Bieber.
She everywhere. I mean, she will not turn down an interview. Good Morning America. Like Good Morning America, frig. I saw her on there the other morning. Good Morning America's having her on, for crying out loud. I mean, it's just
not just Buster, but she's doing good for. She's just promoting the school. But yeah. I said this last week, though. I wasn't kidding, but when I said this, she is kind of overshadowing the players on the team, though. Like, like after the game when they win last week, they interview Sister Jean. They don't interview the player, right? I mean, it's to the point where it's the Sister Jean show right now. But she's the face of the school. I guess she's, she is a big deal there. I saw Jack Armstrong's kid goes there. And Jack Armstrong was talking about how he saw Sister Jean at a commencement speech like 5 years ago. And he's like, this lady's really hardcore. She loves the school. She's the face of the school. Like, she's really involved on a day-to-day basis and stuff. She's not just a token old lady that's fucking sitting courtside. Like, she actually runs that fucking place.
Yeah, she's the chaplain, their school chaplain. She's around the team constantly. She's visiting them, giving them words of wisdom, words of support, a few prayers along the way. Remember, it's a Catholic school here, Jesuit Catholic school, Loyola Chicago. So we'll see if divine intervention can pull them into a national championship game on Monday. They're going to need it. It's funny because you talk about Sister Jean. I don't resent anything about her. She's a sweet lady. If you see every scene she's talking there, it's the fact that, yeah, she's had a lot of airtime. she has her own, Gabe. You know this by now. Everybody that's seen the tournament knows this. She has her own, separate from the coach, separate from the players. She has her own post-game media scrum now after every game. It's unbelievable. They're all pulling up, bending down so that they could talk to her in the wheelchair there. Sister Jean, what do you think about your team's performance here today? And she's doing a post-game media scrum now after every Loyola game. It's unbelievable.
Society, this is what we've come to, though, where people actually like don't like a nun because it's like, I don't have a problem with her. I'm not saying you do, but like I said, look at the guy in Tennessee tweeted, "Fuck Sister Jean, fuck," and he's like,
I can't say that.
He's like, sincerely everyone. But it's just crazy. We're in an era now, like where the kids from the fucking high school that got shot at, you got people doing fake pictures of them, ripping the Constitution up and hating on them. Laura Ingram's like mocking one of the kids because he didn't get accepted to UCLA. And like, here we are complaining, Sister Jean, she's doing her own press conferences. This is out of control. Society is such a hater society right now we're in.
It is. It's not that I actually personally don't hate that. It's just funny to see it because, usually it's players, it's coaches that get the interviews after the game. And now you're seeing Sister Jean after every game now, the last couple especially. She's getting her own little group of media people, local media, national media, beat writers, just all the microphones in her face. What did you think of that game? What did you think of that performance? And then she's saying that she's talking like a coach too during it. It's hilarious. I thought we played well. I thought we were all, she said in one game, we were all moving the ball very, very well. It's like she's a second Porter Moser or something. It's great.
I like, Tim, we'll get you on after if you're still up here. You give your thoughts on the Final Four and Sister Jean, but you raise a good point. If America's biggest problem is Sister Jean, and now Jalen Rose's grandmother did a video, and she basically stated, "Hey, Sister Jean, it's been a nice ride, but it's over." She's like, "Go Blue, go Michigan, 100 years old right here." Yeah, Jalen Rose's grandmother's 100 years old.
Wow! Congratulations to her. This is 2 years older than Jean. Jean is 98.
She's a hardcore. Thanks, Babano. Thanks for doing the math for us.
Quick math, yeah. The only math I can do, the easy stuff.
Babano. I was like, God, that's a 2-year age difference. He's not in. We know Babano. Like,
just checking. Just making sure you're on the ball on a Wednesday night.
Thanks, Babano, for adding up 98 years old and 100 years old for it. Thank you very much.
Making sure you still got your scruples there and all your wits about you.
Yeah, I don't know. Jalen Rose's grandmother fucking looked like she was about to keel. Like my suggestion to Mrs. Rose is, if I was Jalen, I'd say, listen, Grandma, don't do any of these more videos. Fuck, like seriously, she's getting all fired up. She's like, yeah, go Blue, Michigan. And I'm thinking, man, this lady's gonna fucking keel over like right now. Fuck, like I don't like the fact that Michigan are playing Sister Jean on Easter weekend, though. That's not a great omen.
I know, exactly.
I said this before, though. I said this about Nevada. I said,
resurrection.
You got to bring in your own chaplain now and shit.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. You got to bring in your own fucking chaplain. You got to pray. Like, you got to out God Loyola Chicago now. I'm dead serious. If I was the Michigan Wolverines, I'd be bringing in, like, the biggest fucking, most showboat fucking, like, black pastor from Detroit I could find. Like, I'd have him, like, fucking right beside the bench and shit and just sort of look over at Gene. Hallelujah, Gene. Hallelujah. Like, you got to fight God with God here.
You got to fight fire with fire. Exactly. Divine intervention. Let's bring a little divine intervention of our own.
Hey, you guys got Sister Jean. Good for you. Fuck. Good for you. We got the fucking Pope here. All right.
You got Sister Jean. We got Jimmy Swaggart or one of those guys from back in the day. Yeah.
We're going to fucking they got Sister Jean, Michigan. We're going to roll up with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Yeah. Bring that guy, the Hour of Power guy, Robert Schuller, back from the dead. He'll help Michigan out. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Whatever Michigan's doing right now is fine. I think they said, like, say, when both teams pray before the game, what does it mean? Does God choose one or one or the other? No. Like,
Jesus can resurrect on Easter Sunday weekend. Why can't one of these guys?
So you like the over in the Michigan game?
I think it'll creep over that number. I mean, you're not going to get pace, and I know you've got two good defensive teams. Both teams have played great defense in this tournament, but I think Michigan's going to offer a little something offensively, thanks to Beeline and his prep, that Loyola Chicago may not be quite as adept at defending as, say, Miami, Tennessee. But at the same time, Loyola Chicago has been just so crisp offensively. I don't think Michigan's going to shut them down entirely, and Michigan will shoot better. Just like I said, Michigan will shoot better going into the A&M game, and they did. They will shoot better than they did against Florida State. They will. I mean, you give them this time to get a better performance shooting the basketball, they'll make it happen.
Hey, settle down, Ty Rich. I know that you're a Westboro Baptist church member, but hey, settle down here, all right? That'd be the best, yeah. We show up with the Westboro guy. Fucking God hates facts. Fucking, we just come out like real hardcore shit. Fuck, exactly. Not that I'm saying I'm advocating. I'm just saying their signs. We come out with their signs. Loyola Chicago, going to hell, pedophiles. Like, those guys are hardcore like that church. They stand outside like fucking vet funerals and shit. They're like, you defend a country that promotes homosexuality. You deserve it. You roll out with fucking you roll out with the Westboro guy. No, that's not good.
No.
That's not good.
Let's just say over under 0.5 and bet the under that there will be no condemned Sister Jean signs in the crowd.
I don't know. I guarantee you there's some frat boys that want to.
You know? Maybe the ones we were with in Toronto.
I guarantee you there's someone's going to have a sign and someone's going to say to them, hey, bro, no. Hey, no, you don't know. No one, yeah, God hates the 3-point line. Nobody wants to be the guy like in the crowd with the next to the dude with that fucking the anti-Sister Jean sign.
Yeah, there were cute chicks from Michigan the night we were there at Shoeless Joe's, but unfortunately a couple of fucktard frat boys were there with them. So you can't have it all, unfortunately.
Guys talking to frat. I got along with frat boys.
Couple of them were a little
I'm a Michigan
unruly. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess since they were Michigan frat boys, I didn't have a problem with it.
No, once the game was like in the last couple minutes, that's legendary video you got in the last 2 minutes. Like, you were into it. They were all obviously into it, trying to root Michigan home to beat Florida State. That final 2 minutes was epic. We got some great footage of that.
Yeah, I remember doing the chant, oh, at the end of the game.
See, that I don't like. Everybody's got to stop. Everybody does it now. Baltimore Raven fans do it at home games. That's way too prevalent now. Stop with the Seven Nation Army shit.
That was it. You were shit-talking the fucking frat boys all night.
Maybe that was it. Yeah. Hey, they deserved it. Some of them did.
What did they do to deserve it?
Aggravating. That's all. Some of them. A couple of them were. Yeah.
What did they do that was aggravating? Though? What happened that was aggravating? Like, nothing happened. The kids came in, sat down, watched the game.
Didn't one tell you to get out of his face?
Talk to me because I was cheering. I had a Michigan shirt.
Yeah.
No. Like, in what way were the kids aggravating to you?
They were aggravating you, I thought. They didn't aggravate me. I thought they were aggravating you. Didn't one tell you to say, like, get the computer out of my face or something?
No.
Oh, okay. Well.
No.
So everything was hunky-dory then. Okay.
Yeah, no.
It didn't bother me a ton. It's just that.
What's the deal with that? One of these kids, like, knock your soup over or something like that?
No. None of them did that. No.
I don't know, but man, like, I don't know if if you're up for Vegas then. If like 150 Michigan frat boys freak you out, like, you never been to the beach party at Mandalay Bay before.
I think as they're all dressed in suits, that was kind of rattled. We're at Shoeless Joe's, for crying out loud. Everybody's like in suits, for Christ's sake.
I thought they were coming from a wedding.
Is that it? Oh.
I asked them. I said, "Are you guys coming from a wedding?" They said, "No, it's our formal."
Oh, formal. Okay.
I don't even know what a formal is.
Change then and again come to Shoeless Joe's. I mean, come on. You're not going to a business meeting. It's not a board meeting here. It's a goddamn sports bar.
No one complained I was loud, Chris Sedge. You guys are like creating bullshit here.
That is a bunker basement,
There was no, I didn't have one issue.
Bar.
I didn't have one issue with one frat boy.
Okay, well, that's good.
There wasn't no words exchanged. And in fact, I stopped one of the fucking dudes from getting punched in the face outside on the street after.
So you saved them. You rescued one. Wow.
Yeah, no, there was no
guardian angel Gabe.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm a Michigan fan. Why would I have a problem with these kids? I had no problem with these kids.
Oh, that's good. I thought someone was getting a little belligerent with you at one point, but maybe not.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Urbana. Like, when did that happen?
I don't know. I thought you had the computer in one person's face there, and it looked like they were upset about it or something. I was not right there with you, so I couldn't hear anything, but just seemed like he was agitated by you. Just by I gave you like this little, this like I'm fucking pissed off at you kind of look. Like, are you nuts, man?
No, it's fake news. I don't like.
Okay, well that's good. Thank you for clearing that up for me. Then that's all.
I don't like. Like, did anybody see me bitching on Twitter about anything?
No, I mean they're Michigan fans. You're going to give them every.
I was in a pleasant mood all night.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to give them a little
confrontation with anybody all night. The only person that I had a confrontation with was I got a little I had attitude with one of the waitresses once, and I fucking snapped at a bartender once.
What about Jessica? Jessica did okay with us.
Goldster was there. Like, Babano's just making shit up now. Guys in my face, words exchange. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Just the one guy that one time looked like he was a little mad at you. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you cleared it up. Okay.
There's nothing for me to clear up. You were the one talking shit, not me to them, though. That's what we asked you. We said, what was your problem with them? And then somehow you bring it on me. I didn't have a problem with it.
We've got a freaking like little nice. It's a bunker basement. Kick your feet back. Shoot some pool. Bet on some horses. Watch some sports. Drink your ass off bar. And then there's a bunch of people flying in with a bunch of suits on, like they're going to a board meeting here. Could you change? Could you dress down a little bit? It's not the place to be. Suits left and right. People wear suits bother me. Okay, unless it's a wedding or a special event. That's it. That's what I'm getting at right here. I'm not a suit guy. I hate the damn things. It begrudges me when I actually have to dress up for an event.
But you seem to be like easily bothered, bothered by Sister Jean's press conferences, and bothered by the fact that these kids were wearing blazers. Like, Babano, he wouldn't be able to go to an Alabama football game. It's like 80,000 kids in blazers.
That's a good point. Yeah, I actually have noticed that a lot of those college football home games down there, they've got at least a blazer on.
You ever been to a college game, Babano?
No.
Like, people don't realize.
I've been to MLB, NBA, NHL, NFL, CFL, not college football though.
No, people don't realize. College fans are dicks, Babano. That's the thing. Everyone always says, "Oh, those kids are dicks." Fuck. Oh, those Michigan kids, fucking smug. Like, what kids aren't? Like, every school's fans are fucking dicks. Like, it's just a fact. All right, 19 and 20-year-old little dickhead kids that go to university are 19 and 20-year-old little dickhead kids.
But you got along with the guys on Saturday.
Especially people that go to Notre Dame.
Yeah, but you got along with the guys on Saturday night that were in that bar because they're your dickheads. They're Michigan dickheads. So that's why everybody got along. Okay, I'm glad we cleared that up, though. All right, what do we got here? Let's do a score update since Gabe's just gone off the camera for a second. What do we got? Okay, Northern Colorado beat Sam Houston State.
Everyone got along, Babano, but you were the one. We were asking you because people were like, "Oh, Babano was pretty surly on the camera tonight."
No, that's probably caught me at that moment where I was wondering what the hell they were doing. But now you've cleared it up. It's good. It's all good. Nothing but love now. I'm glad I'm glad you had that little moment with them when they won that basketball game, because that moment was pretty cool. Actually, everybody's jumping up and down. The place is just, people in the corner are looking at us like we're nuts, or you guys, they were looking at you like you were nuts in the corner. They were trying to watch the Oilers game against the LA Kings on the one TV there, and they're looking over. What the hell are these guys making all this noise for? I don't know if they even knew it was because Michigan basketball, and you were all Michigan fans.
Bob Bano kicking it with us here. Tim Anderson will step up and in a little bit later on with us. All right, so yeah, what happened in the Northern Colorado game? It looks like it just ended, right?
I like what Kyle said. He might wear a suit next time he sees me. Yeah, don't do that, Kyle. Don't do that. No, no. Actually, Kyle, I'd be, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, Northern Colorado, 99-80. 99-80. Holy shit, fucking track meet. It's 57-41 in the second half. 99-80 final score in that basketball game. Here come the Utah Jazz, man. Big run for the Utah Jazz, 67-58 right now in that basketball game. And Dallas Mavericks and the LA Lakers were on the over 215.5 in this one. It's 35-35 right now, early in the second. So it is somewhat of a run and gun game. Right now, the LA Clippers are up 58-56 on the Suns. And you can get the Suns on a money line at plus 425 right now. Motherfuck. I really want to do it. I'd really like to hit that play, but it's the Phoenix fucking Suns. Like, you click this, we almost have to accept that, like, we're playing like a scratch lotto ticket.
Wow, 69-50. Yeah, there you go. 69-58 Utah. Damn. They did turn it on second half. Big time. They're already up 11. They were down like 9 at halftime. They're up 11 now, Utah.
So Phoenix plus 425 at the half. Second half number right now. The Clippers are up by 2. It's 58-56. Phoenix are plus 6.5 in the second half. Over-under is 108.5. 108.5.
Both late hockey games 2-1. Philly, Colorado up. Philly up 2-1. Arizona up 2-1. And I've got Arizona plus 200. Screw the puck line. I've got plus 200 on Arizona. Fade in Vegas off the clinching playoff night. Hopefully,
I think you just mushed it by doing that.
I know. Well,
I think
wouldn't surprise me one bit. Yeah.
I think basically because the way you said it was like it was a win already there. It's like,
no, but I love the price. Plus 200 for a spot like this. Win or loss, you got to bet this spot with a team that, Arizona's playing better hockey right now, too.
Yeah, exactly. No, if they are. You look at a parlay. Yeah, Philadelphia and a Coyote parlay. The other night, Coyotes won the other night, too, when the Sabres won. It was a massive fucking payout for the two-team parlay players. I see we got some Costa Rican soccer action going on right now, too. All right, Babano, so Kansas and Villanova, what's your take on that game?
That's a good one. I actually think I will lay the 5 with Villanova. I mean, I know it's a semifinal. Everybody says 2 good teams, 2 1 seeds, both tight. You have to revisit, I think, the last minute or two of the Kansas-Duke game on Sunday. Because here's Duke with the lead, with not 1, but 2 possessions where they had a chance to extend the lead, and their shot selection was bad both times. Kansas gets 2 cracks down 2 or 3 to come back, do something with it, and of course, Mikhailuk hits the 3, ties the game. Grayson Allen gets an incredible look, not an incredible look, but he's got a great chance to hit that game winner at the end. It rolls around the rim everywhere except go in. Doesn't go in, goes to overtime, and the next thing you know, Malik Newman catches fire and goes off and goes nuts in overtime for Kansas, and they pull away and they win in overtime. That is how close Kansas was to losing. Duke had them on the ropes. They let him go, let him off the hook, as Denny Green once said. And next thing you know, in overtime, Malik Newman can't miss a shot. Kansas wins. That's how close Kansas was good. I mean, Bill Self was good in that game coaching-wise. He knew how to attack the zone, and he did. I think it's going to be a much taller order for Kansas in this game. And right now, I'm not betting against Villanova. They've been the most consistent team start to finish in this tournament. They've been the best team at both ends of the court from start to finish in this tournament. And the fact that they shot horribly, Gabe, not just bad, they shot horribly against Texas Tech in the Elite Eight. And they still won that game comfortably by double digits because they hung their hat on their defense, which was outstanding. And that's what Villanova can do. They can beat you with the 3 on one night. They can beat you inside with the big guys on one night. They can win with defense on another night. They can beat you in multiple ways. I'm not sure Kansas can. Villanova's too good right now at this point in time. I'll lay the 5. I'll also look over the total. That's going to be a pace-filled game. Great guard play, Great perimeter play on both sides, Kansas and Villanova. I do think Devontae Graham for Kansas will have a better night shooting the ball than he did against Duke. And I don't think Kansas is slowing down Brunson, Booth, and Mikal Bridges in that game. Not at all, not with their defense. So I like Villanova, and I like the game to go over the total.
Yeah, you know what I like? I agree with that. You look at Villanova. Villanova's the best team in the country. I've been saying this all year. And unfortunately, I think my Michigan Wolverines are going to meet their match when we take on Villanova on Monday night. Villanova are just so complete. And, you look at Kansas in this, and I've been riding Kansas, but you look at Kansas, they cover against Penn in the first game. They were 13.5-point favorites. They win by 16. The Seton Hall game, close basketball game, 83-79. The Clemson game, they don't cover. They win by 4. Both games, they win by 4. The Clemson game, they were in control of. They took the pedal off the metal with about 7 minutes left, and they paid the price for it. Their bettors paid the price for it. And then you mentioned a Duke game, which really could have went either way. Went to overtime. Allen misses the shot late, etc. So, long story short, Kansas are 2-2 and have played in three out of the 4 games, with the exception of the opener against Penn, have been close basketball games. And then, you look at Villanova. Villanova's just been fucking cruising. Villanova won easily as 22.5-point favorites. They win by 26 against Radford. They play against Alabama. They lay 11. They win easily. They win by 23. They play West Virginia. Press Virginia. Dangerous. Blah, blah, blah. 5-point favorites. They beat the shit out of them. They win by 12. Texas Tech, similar situation. They win by 12. So look, no one's come within 12 points in a single game in this tournament of Villanova, actually. 4-0 against the spread. Hard to get in front of that.
It's hard, and it's something I won't do. It's probably not. It's not something I'm going to do Saturday.
If you look at it, so the 4-0 against the spread and the margin of victory, like they haven't won a game by less than 12 points in this tournament. And then you look at Kansas, you look at Loyola Chicago. 3 of their first 4 wins were by 3 wins by 4 points. You look at Michigan. Michigan fucking dodged a few bullets along the way in this tournament and a few blowouts. So, Villanova are definitely the most complete team.
They are. And what's amazing to me is you talk about how the margin of victory, average margin of victory in this tournament, is the 12-point win against Texas Tech when they shot about as horribly as Villanova could possibly shoot, as I've seen them shoot this season, particularly Brunson. That was an off game for him against the Red Raiders. Credit to the Red Raiders defensively, but that just tells you how many different ways Villanova can beat you. There could be nights where they just shoot the lights out and just drill you and score 80, 90. But if they struggle offensively, their defense can be so good, they could still win a game by margin. I just think they have more ways to win this game by margin than Kansas has to keep this game tighter. I think Kansas, great run, great to Bill Self. I
hate to say it, but I do think that Kansas have a better chance of beating them than Michigan does, I think, though.
I don't know. But I honestly don't think
Kansas can score, Babano. That's the one thing. Kansas can score. Like, Kansas can fucking hang 80 on them. You know what I mean? Or 76, etc. Like you said, about going over the number. And I've talked to a lot of people I respect, and I agree with them. Kansas is going to fucking push the tempo, man. They're going to say, fuck this. Fuck this half-court shit. Let's just try to outscore Villanova. We got the athletes to do it. Let's push the tempo. It's going to be fun to watch. Kansas are a dangerous team, man. I think they could give Villanova a run, but Villanova, sort of like the Houston Rockets and Golden State Warriors, they look like a good NBA team where they're able to flick that switch, Babano, and it's like Texas Tech, we're hanging with them. We're up by 3. And it's like, no, you're not. Fuck. The next 4 minutes later, you're down by 12. They just flick that switch.
And I think they'll flick the switch. I don't think Kansas is going to get blown out because Kansas has been +5 or more as a dog once this season. Once that they've been in this price range, catching 5 or more points, and that was in a Big 12 road game at West Virginia in January. They won that game outright. So I don't sell Kansas short here. They're capable. They're capable. If they bring their A++ game, they could be right in this thing and even win it. And it would not totally shock me if Kansas wins it. But I just think Villanova has shown me enough start to finish in terms of consistency, just defense, offense, game in, game out, just putting their foot down and upping it in the second half and going on that run that puts them over the hump. I could see something like that happening here too.
I've talked about it time and time again. I fucking hate laying points, guys. I never win when I lay points. I never win. I laid the points in the Raptors last night, lose. Laid the points in the Blazers tonight, lose. I don't like doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. I'd rather play favorites on a money line parlay. So I'm scared of it. You know, I don't know. It seems like kind of crazy, Babano, but we always talk about when you take underdogs. All right, we'll take a little bit of the money line and the points. I'm going to do this, except the opposite. I'll lay the 5 in both games. I'll play the over in both games, and I'll money line parlay both teams in the games, right? In case, oh shit, Michigan won by 4 again, type of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely an option for you. And I will say this about Kansas too. A lot of people saying, "Oh, they worked wonders against the Duke zone. They were okay. They were good against the zone. They didn't shred Duke zone. They were sitting on 69 points going into the final minute, and they needed that last 3, tied it at 72. And of course, you had overtime, which means they scored way more points than otherwise they would have. So they did decent against the zone. They didn't shred it by any stretch of the imagination. And again, Graham, they won that game in spite of Graham really not playing at a high level. They're not going to be able to get away with that against Villanova. He's going to have to up his production and shooting from the perimeter.
All right, we're talking Chris Edge, Class A. Chris Edge, good to see you, buddy. Talking about the parlay here. So the money line parlay, I think it's like minus 104, right? So Michigan, it's gone up a bit. Michigan, Villanova, minus 105 right now. You throw in the over of the Loyola game in Michigan, turns into plus 273. And let's see if we can go 4 for 4. So money line Michigan, money line Nova, over in Loyola Chicago, over in the Kansas Villanova game. Pay 6-1 plus 613. That's not bad, actually. It's a fun Saturday night, man. You bet $100, you get 613. You get 713 back, actually, 613. But you put $200, you get talking about $1,200-$1,300 here, Babano. It's not a bad bet, actually.
Exactly, and it will end up paying for a pretty good Saturday night out in the future at some point. Exactly. You're rolling.
It's a nice fucking 13. Yeah, that's a nice 6-1 parlay to hit.
That definitely is.
Because I don't know. It's not a lock, but if we got into the analytics of it and a computer sort of algorithm of this, the chances are it's going to be Michigan and Villanova on Monday night, which is actually what I fucking said in my bracket. Hard to believe, but I am.
See, I still believe, even though I have faith in Beeline and Michigan, I'm actually going to go as far as saying I think there's a better chance Loyola beats Michigan than Kansas beats Villanova Saturday. That's me. But again,
I can understand that. I didn't say that earlier though, Babano. I said, I know you have a hard time hearing. You're easily distracted. I said that Kansas have a better chance of beating Villanova
than Michigan.
Have of beating Villanova.
Yep.
That's what I said. Michigan could get hot and shit, but we're not as athletic as Villanova. And, even Michigan versus Kansas, I hate to say it, but we're going to be in fucking tough if we play against these guys. We could beat Kansas, though. Like, our chances are better against Kansas than they are against Villanova. But I think Kansas has a better chance of beating Villanova than we do. I
agree. I think Michigan could. I don't worry about Michigan if they end up having to play Kansas as much as I would if they had to play Villanova. Because I'll tell you what, right now, Wagner, he'll make sure Azubuike's got 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes and he's the hell out of there.
They'll both foul out of the game. Wagner's a fucking fouling machine himself, bro. Like, you're right. They'd both have 3 fouls 8 minutes into this game. Yeah,
exactly. Azubuike's been horrible at it. I mean, he's been even worse. I mean, Bill Self could barely.
Villanova, they survived against Duke because who is it? The Carter kid got in trouble there. But yeah, I think that's going to be a problem for them against Nova because Nova, you have to foul them, otherwise they're going to score. And I think he's going to rack up the foul problems.
Yeah, and you've got Malik Newman off that performance, and everyone's going to sing his praises. Let's put it this way. If you're going to look at props for the Final 4 games, over assists, over points, any props, there will be. I know there will be, but I'm saying I would be reluctant to bet over props with Malik Newman off that kind of performance. That was a otherworldly performance, carrying the team on his back, basically, especially in overtime. That's not going to be duplicated in a big setting, a football-sized stadium down there in San Antonio. And that's the one concern I have with these totals, though. I think matchup-wise, it sets up good for the over, but I want to read later in the week, how are these teams going to what do they think of the surroundings, the sight lines, and anything like that? That's the one thing that's always a little bit of a tricky thing if you're going to bet overs in these Final Four games, the cavernous surroundings they're playing in.
You know what's been weird? I talked about this earlier in the week. We've talked about the sight lines a lot. It seems like that trend has dissipated a bit, Babetto.
Not quite as strong the last year.
Yeah, it used to really be strong. I used to really be into that like 10, 15 years ago and shit with the sidelines. And it was true. Like they didn't play them in the stadiums before, right? And they didn't do it well. They used to have like fucking curtains and like a grandstand like right behind the back. Like they had weird sight lines and angles in the old days with the curtains and shit. They've gotten it better. I don't know if these kids are just more fearless and they just don't give a shit. Or they're just not very good shooters to begin with, so it doesn't bother them. But it seems like the kids have less of a problem with it now than they used to. I think also it's the rims, not just like the sight line. If it's fucking like viciously tight, it's a problem. I think they've softened it up a bit in these stadiums. But you're right. It's something I'm going to keep my eye on. Any chance I get, Babano, that I can see any workout footage of a practice of anything, of the kids shooting and shit, right?
Yep.
I talked about this with Big Man earlier in the week. The fact of the matter is these kids are going to get an opportunity to shoot on this floor, like starting Thursday, I think. So they're going to, they're going to get walkthroughs. You get the practice on the floor. It could be an issue for the first fucking 6-7 minutes of the game, but then I think it settles down. But one thing too is if you look, the Final Four games have been played more naturally. Like the Final Four games in the 70s, and the teams sort of play to their averages a little bit more. But I looked up the national championship games, Babano. 5 of the last 7 national championship games, and I wasn't even looking. I didn't see like the over-unders and the totals, but fuck, they're low scoring and ugly games, dude. They're all low scoring. Fuck, 60-58, 61-60, 64-62 type shit. They're low scoring games in the championship, even when there's high scoring teams play.
Yeah, and that's a lot of factors go into that. Obviously, it's the intensity that comes with a title game. It's a short turnaround. You're playing, second game in 3 nights. You're dealing with a situation where the shooting legs are not quite as strong and as sharp, and as your lift and your jump shot is not going to be on a Monday night in the championship game atmosphere as maybe as strong as it's going to be on a Saturday in the first game where you're a little fresher. You've had that several days off to get ready for that game. So I think all of those factors play into it. And you're right. You've seen a lot of tight nerves come into play, especially early. I've seen a lot of 9-6 scores after the first 7-8 minutes of some of these championship games in recent years, where you got 15 points in the first 8 minutes. Tight as a drum. Your nerves are shaking a little bit early on in a big championship game like that. All those things contribute to it being lower scoring. You're right. I'm more inclined to bet these semifinals over, and I'll be probably more reluctant to bet them over Monday night in the title game.
All right. So as I was saying, 71-65 last year, 136 points. 77-74 the year before. That was one of the higher scoring ones with Villanova and North Carolina.
Yeah, you got good pace from Carolina.
And that was, all of these are in football stadiums. Duke and Wisconsin, 68-63. Connecticut and Kentucky, 60-54. Louisville and Michigan was a higher scoring one, 82-76 in 2013. Watch that at the Green Valley Ranch. John Calipari and Kansas, 67-59. Watch that one at Palace Station. Remember, like it was yesterday. Year before, 53-41. 53-41. 2011, fucking Butler.
That was a horrible.
41 fucking points in the championship game, 53-41.
That
year
is the
before
worst.
that, Butler lost 61-59 when Hayward missed the shot at the buzzer. 61-59, way under the number. So you see where I'm going with this, guys. Like, for the most part, there's 2 exceptions in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The last 8 NCAA championship games, 6 of them have been pretty freaking low scoring, man.
They have been. I remember that Butler. Was it Butler UConn? That's the single worst championship game I've seen in college basketball. That there's nothing that could possibly be worse than that one. That was dreadful. It was not a thrilling game. It really wasn't close for most of the game. It was horrible offense. Horrible.
That's how UConn won. They won the championship. They just suffocated teams.
Exactly.
Tim Anderson says the Louisville, Michigan game never took place. Oh, it took place. But what I want to know is if Louisville aren't the champions, then how are Michigan not the champions?
I know Louisville had to vacate that title. Doesn't someone else have to get it? Yeah.
How the fuck do we then not get promoted to champion? Otherwise, you're not vacating shit. Like, unless you fucking say, you know what? You have to take that banner down. You're not the champion anymore. And we have a ceremony where they hand us a fucking banner and shit. And they say, guess what, guys? You guys are now the 2013 NCAA basketball champions. Yep. Is it the same thing? No. But if Louisville was proven to have cheated, which it is proven that they cheated because they have to vacate the fucking title, then how the fuck are we not the fucking champions? It doesn't make sense. It's like in the Olympics. If the gold medalist tests positive for something,
and he's stripped of his gold medal, silver medalist gets the gold. Yeah,
gold medalist, they fucking bump everyone up one fucking level.
Exactly right. It's like an assembly line. Gold medal gets stripped of his gold medal. Silver medalist moves up to the gold position. Bronze medalist moves up to the silver position. The fourth place moves up to the bronze medal position. Everybody moves up a spot. It's like an assembly line. One guy gets knocked off the assembly line. The others keep moving up. It's the way it is.
Basketball gods are cruel. We were up in that game early too, man. Like, we fucked that up. We got no one to blame but ourselves. We were up, literally, I think we were up by 18 points in the first half. I don't know if you guys remember that night.
I remember that. That was tough. They had a great start.
Spike Albrecht came out and fucking just nailed 3 after 3. Little Spike. And Spike was terrible, too. He just caught lightning in a bottle. It wasn't terrible, but he fucking nailed. I think he hit 6 3-point shots in the first half. And yeah, man, we were up like 30-8 and shit. It was like, holy fuck, we're fucking smoking them. It's going to be hard to blow this lead. No. We managed to do it. We managed to do it.
Tough.
There was
you're right. They were smoking early.
We fell apart. Fuck. You know, it's like Louisville got that. What was the kid's name? Fuck. Russ Smith. Russ fucking Smith really got hot and shit in the second half for Louisville. Louisville were better than we were, and they turned it up a notch, man. We had a hard time slowing it down. It was disappointing, though, that one. Like I said, I remember being in a Green Valley Ranch, man, and fucking thinking, holy fuck, we're actually going to win this championship. Like, I was fucking stoked. And then by the end of the night, and I didn't even take it that hard. I remember I left. I moved Vegas the next morning. That was my last night in Vegas as a resident. I left the fucking game. I went back to the condo. I had no furniture. I just sat there. I was like, well, they get a plane in the morning and get the fuck out of this fucking town.
Yeah, I shouldn't have never said that. Oh my God, we're going to win a championship. Just the worst thing to say right then and there. Yeah.
Well, I didn't say it out loud, but I thought, we're looking pretty good right now. We're looking good, but that's why it's going to be painful, man, if we make it on Monday and then we just fucking lose the championship again, which it's a distinct possibility that could happen, but there's worse things in life that happen in your favorite team losing in the championship game. All right, Babano, so before we get you out of here, Major League Baseball starts tomorrow. Do you have any bets for tomorrow to share or any best bet futures you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, opening day, can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing how the season begins. I mean, lots of interesting situations, pitchers that you think are bet on, teams that you think are bet on. I mean, going into the season, what I want to make note of is a little theory that I hear is spring training. How important is it really in the grand scheme of things? And when specifically starting pitchers, because one thing is that I always make a point of doing is I actually do go and look and see what these starting pitchers did in spring training. But what I want to explain is what the difference is with pitchers and how you should grade them and how you should use it going into opening day. The pitchers that get bombed in spring training that have the 6.5 ERA, 7.4 ERA, whatever it may be, if there is no underlying cause of them being that poor in spring training and they're a veteran pitcher, they've been around, they've had recent good seasons, I'm willing to look past that and say that is not going to carry over into opening day. And you've got to be careful and take those results with a grain of salt. However, there's also cases where you see a pitcher's ERA in spring training around that same area, 6.7. They struggled. They got hit around a little bit, gave up home runs. What I look for is the pitchers that walks were an issue. Walks were way up for the pitcher in spring training. That is a red flag for me going in to opening day and the new season because that tells me control and command were a problem. That makes me want to circle those pitchers as bet against, as well as pitchers where I see a decline in their velocity, Morency. There's a couple of pitchers that I saw that in spring training this year where their velocity went down. They were complaining about some stiffness in their shoulder, their throwing arm. The managers had to answer questions from the media saying, oh, is your pitcher okay? There's a decline in his velocity. Those are the pitchers that I really look at as, wow, I think I got to be betting against these pitchers here on opening day. And there's two pitchers that come to mind. Zach Greinke for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We think about him as a great ace all these years. Royals, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. It's been a consistent arm, stayed for the most part healthy. His velocity went way down, Gabe, in spring training, Greinke. Way down to the point now where there was worry now going into the season. There's an injury. There's already people saying that he's going to start the season, but he could wind up on the DL very soon because he's been complaining about this pain in his arm with this declining velocity. His walks have gone up. Zach Greinke is the poster child for me going into the season of a bet against pitcher early on because I don't think he's right. And I think he's going to end up on the DL sooner rather than later. Danny Duffy, who just happens to be on the card tomorrow on opening day for Kansas City, pitching the opener against the White Sox. He's another guy, Gabe, that I've got concerns about. Diminished velocity, been on the DL now last year. Has had shoulder issues, was complaining about it in spring training that he had shoulder issues. Ned Yost is trying to basically put out the fire and say, oh, he's okay. He's okay. I think that's manager speak. I don't think Danny Duffy's right starting this season. I think he could struggle early on. And I look at the White Sox, even with James Shields on the mound tomorrow, Thursday, live dog there. What's Kansas City doing laying minus 155 with a pitcher that could be damaged goods taking the hill? I think the White Sox could be a live one there at that nice price.
I like the White Sox. I like the White Sox tomorrow as well, Babano. James Shields, obviously he's not the James Shields that he was 5, 6, 7 years ago. But the White Sox have a live bat, and we saw today Kansas City Royals lose their catcher day before the season starts. That's pretty bad timing.
Sal Perez for 4 to 6 weeks, exactly, yeah. Just adding more problems. Him and Moustakas are the only real veteran Royals players that were there in the World Series and playoff years that are still there. Other than that, it's a complete roster turnover and makeover with the Royals, and looking like it could be a tough year.
Babano. All right, Babano, before we let you go, 3-2 Arizona Coyotes right now still. In-game total 7.5. I'm going to go under the 7.5 here. I'm going to go under the 7.5, and it's funny because I'm on the Coyotes plus a puck and a half, but Vegas at plus 160 on the money line is enticing. Clippers are up by 6 right now on the Phoenix Suns, but we got a game. We got a game at the half right now. The LA Lakers and Dallas Mavericks. I'm already on the over 215.5. It's 56-55 right now. Now the Lakers are minus 4.5 in game. In this game. Second half number, Lakers minus 5.5. What do you think, Babano, of this game? It's tough. I'm not watching the game. I got the Utah-Boston game on TV here.
Like with the Boston-Utah game, I said Utah second half after a sluggish start. Don't you kind of have to look Lakers here? You do, but the fact they're down 1 at home at halftime to the Dallas Mavericks tells me that maybe I'm not going to rush to bet the Lakers, or maybe I wouldn't be in any hurry to back them here because, again, this is their first game. They had a really long road trip, a lot of East Coast games recently. Usually if you're an NBA team, that first game home off a long road trip, you're just flat. You don't play good. You're not sharp. Your shots aren't falling. You're asleep at the wheel defensively. We're looking like we're seeing that kind of game so far for the Lakers. So I'd lean Lakers, but this spot looked like is catching them up a little bit. So I'd be reluctant to go ahead and pull the trigger.
All right. Babano, good stuff. So you got the Ice Guys in the morning?
We do. Ice Guys at 9 a.m. tomorrow, Thursday. Another good hockey show breaking down the hockey card. Hockey's getting exciting. Playoff races, a week left in the regular season. Playoffs start 2 weeks from tonight, Gabe. We'll be on the air Wednesday, April 11th, you and I, the very first night of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a great playoffs. Wide open. A lot of teams that think they can make some noise. It'll be a lot of fun.
2 weeks tonight, the playoffs start, you say?
Yep. Wednesday, April 11th is that very first night of the NHL playoffs. Yep.
Cool. When's the NBA playoffs?
I think it's the Saturday, 3 days after that. Saturday, Saturday, April the 14th. Believe that's when they start.
NBA playoffs.
Usually that's Saturday, and the Raptors damn well are going to get the screw job from the schedule makers and the media. They'll put them at the 12:30 game Saturday afternoon at the Air Canada Center, like always.
People bitch about that every year. They didn't last year.
Did they? No, maybe last year they did.
Surprising last year. I think last year the first game. I think they were on ESPN at 5:30. I think.
That's not bad.
Everyone expected, they're going to get the NBA 12 o'clock game, and they didn't. In fact, they got like the ESPN 5:30 sort of weird start time in the evening leading into the ABC game at night. They're the one fucking seed, right? They're not going to be able to bury them on the NBA network. It'll be interesting to see. I'm looking for the fucking date here. When's the fucking playoffs start? Let's see. I'll take your word for it. So if it's the Wednesday, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So what? They're going to start 3 days later. The NBA playoffs always starts on Saturday. You're right.
Yeah, it's usually a Saturday start. I think it's going to be that way again. I think
because it's not the Saturday before that. You're right. It's not that soon. So yeah, it would be 2.5 weeks to the NBA playoffs. All right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I know you feel that, and you've said this before on multiple shows in the past, that as much as you love the Raptors and as much as you love their broadcast team, they can sometimes be homerish. They're way too complimentary and not critical enough of the Raptors. Talking about Matt Devlin, Jack Armstrong, Leo Roughton. Sometimes they don't give, they're just too complimentary. Everything they try to spin it so it makes the Raptors look good and sound good. But I will give Jack credit for one thing. I watched the end of the Nugget game last night. He was ripping the Raptors for bad defense for a lot of that game. Get in your stance, move your feet, he's basically saying to the team. This is the first time I've ever heard him really get that upset and angry about the way the Raptors were playing on the air during a broadcast. So Jack got a little upset with their defense for a bit last night. It was good to hear it, actually.
I hope they're paying attention. Raptors gotten a little lazy over the last week and a half, but it's a fucking grind. And
yep.
I think they know. So what? They're like 1 or 2 wins away, essentially, from nailing down the 1 seed, right? They know this. So they're sort of like, all right, we're going to get the 1 seed. I'll cut them a little slack for this. They never really had that lull, but you're right. We don't want those bad habits to start popping up right now.
No, exactly. This is the time you got to fine-tune it, get the defense working. What was that lull? I mean, it's like almost like a little lull lately for the Raptors until the end of that game last night where they finally started to look like, oh, there's the Raptors we've seen for most of the season. You're right. You mentioned the Oklahoma City games sort of threw them out for a loop. Threw DeRozan maybe for a loop too because he was upset, the calls that were ridiculous that went against him and all that. And they really didn't play it that well from that point on. But maybe last night, the way they closed out strong against Denver gets them back on the beam. I'd rather see them rolling going into the playoffs than scuffling going in. I want them to be confident.
There's time, though. That's why I think it's better. I don't know. Fuck, man. Sorry. I fucking clicked this shit and it's stuck on me. My bad. There's time. I think it's better that they sort of got this out of the way right now.
Yeah.
I remember last year, they really did fucking stumble into the playoffs. And you could tell, too. They weren't cohesive at all. There was no rhythm. They've avoided that all year long. I've always been thinking, when's it going to come? It's going to come. And I'm not shocked it came. I could tell after the Oklahoma City game, they didn't play well in the Orlando game on the Tuesday right after that, even though they won. And then they lost to Cleveland the night after, and they were bitching. And it just sort of has been a domino effect. Yet, man, it's like real life, man. They showed up to work and worked hard every day this year. They're just getting a little grumpy. And everything's going to be fine with Bano. It's going to come down to the fucking Raptors and LeBron James, man. And whatever. The league's going to fuck us most likely. But we're going to have to find a way of blowing the Cavs out somehow. It's going to be hard. But
yeah, Raptors versus the Cavs and Tony Brothers, Scott Foster, and that ridiculous crew. That they're the worst of it. Every year it seems like they put those guys together. Danny Crawford, all of them. Ken Mauer's not bad. I can live with Ken Mauer doing a Raptors game. He's not usually too bad. He's got the slick back hair. He's not usually as bad with the calls. But Tony Brothers is horrible. And Scott Foster. You keep those guys away from a Raptor game. They're horrible.
Bano, great stuff. But Bano, thanks for taking the time to be with us. We'll speak to you on Friday on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network.
Good stuff, Gabe. Have a good night. Good luck to everyone in the chat. Let's root Zona home here as they go to the third period against Vegas. Go Zona. Let's get this. See you guys. Have a good one.
Guys. Check out the Ice Guys in the morning. Thanks, Babano.
See you, Gabe. Have a good night.
All right, there's good stuff with Babano. Man, we haven't taken a break yet. It's been an hour and 44 minutes of hot sports takes. And Babano's weirdness. 89-84 right now, 4.5 minutes left in this game. Just for the record, this is if the playoffs started right now in the NBA. And I don't like the look of this. Fuck. Toronto Raptors, 1 seed, which I like, but fuck me. We're going to play the Milwaukee Bucks. We're going to play the Milwaukee Bucks. We beat the Bucks last year, man. It wasn't easy, fuck. And the Bucks are like a year better and a little older, but we saw last night the Bucks are flaky. Giannis is really good. Everyone else is just sort of okay. So it would be the Toronto Raptors versus the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat, the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Washington Wizards. Although there's a thought right now that the Wizards and the Pacers, who are tied, they are close with the records. Basically, like there's some people are thinking that the Pacers and the Wizards might be better off losing games. Like, basically, it comes down. Do you want to play the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round, or do you want to play LeBron James in the first round? Like, that's your, like, Washington and the Pacers are sort of stuck in this right now. I know the Wizards don't want to admit it publicly, but I know the Wizards they don't want to play the Cavaliers in the first round, but there's no avoiding it. The East is much better than it used to be. I mean, everyone's pretty good in the East. Like the Raptors will beat Milwaukee, but it won't be easy. Fuck. It'll go 6 games. It'll be a fucking battle. But the Raptors will beat them. Boston and Miami is going to be a fucking war. The Miami Heat, like, are a fucking good team. I got to give credit to Spoelstra. He's a damn good coach. You know, they're going to have Whiteside back. The Heat don't take shit. They're a physical team and shit. That's going to be a fucking battle, man. Cleveland and Washington, whatever. LeBron will beat fucking Washington. Philadelphia and the Pacers. Philadelphia will beat the Pacers. And then there would be no escaping it. The Toronto Raptors would have to play the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers. There's no escaping this shit. So yeah, if the playoffs started today, it's Toronto versus Milwaukee. Most of these things are sort of locked in, but not really. Like Milwaukee will probably be the 8th seed. You know, like I said, the 3rd, you know, Boston and Boston's pretty much locked into the 2 seed. Cleveland could fall. But if they did, whatever, fuck. Philadelphia would step into the 3. So it could be Cleveland versus the Pacers, or it could be, you know, the Sixers versus the Wizards. Toronto, Milwaukee, Boston, Miami, Cleveland, Washington, Philadelphia. The West is a little bit more set. There's not a lot of drama in the West. It's more so just sort of at the end, golden with Utah and with Denver, except Utah's pulling away from Denver. So Houston versus Minnesota. Houston will fucking beat Minnesota. Even though Minnesota have beaten them 3 out of 4 times they played this year. Golden State and Utah. And I'll tell you what, if fucking Golden State doesn't get healthy in a hurry, like if the NBA playoffs are starting in 2.5 weeks, you know, right now, Golden State are in a fucking big fucking, you know, they're in a lot of trouble. I was watching a game earlier tonight. Maybe it was this one, actually. I think it is. Well, yeah, this is this one, Van Gundy. I respect Jeff Van Gundy, and Van Gundy stated that he thinks that Houston wins. Now, he did coach that team, but like he did. Yeah, but Van Gundy basically stated, you know, all the things that we've been saying, that Golden State are just too injured right now. There's too many of them injured. And even when they come back, there's no guarantees that they're going to be back and stay back and come back. There's too many question marks. I'm starting to have my serious doubts. I haven't officially stated, you know what, they're not winning. but I'm getting fucking close to doing it. They don't have anybody. I mean, when are all these guys magically coming back? I mean, it's in 2.5 weeks. Curry's not even, they say Curry, oh, he'll be back maybe for the second round. Yeah, that's not very optimistic to me. Draymond Green's a fucking flake. You know, basically, listen, I always big up Kevin Durant and tell everyone that Kevin Durant's the best and this and that about Kevin Durant. Ooh, Boston tied a game with a fucking minute left. I always tell people about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant might have to fucking prove it. And there'll be no excuse. Like, if you got Draymond Green and, you know, you got Iguodala and you got a couple other dudes, Kevin, and it's up to you to carry this fucking team. I always say you can do it. You're going to have to do it. But the Houston Rockets are that damn good. I mean, if you ask me right now, if I had to make a future pick right now, I'm going to say it's the Toronto Raptors and the Houston Rockets in the NBA Finals. We'll take a quick break, and we'll see if Tim Anderson is still around to step up and bong break, bathroom break. In my case, it's both. I would have hung around with Bano longer, but I don't want to keep the guy all night. He's a busy man. And I figured, we've gone this long without a fucking bathroom or fucking bong break. But now, man, I need both. Boston's got the ball. 7 seconds left. I think they're going to score. Boston scores like I thought. Fucking dagger. I blame Babano for patting himself on the back for saying that Utah was the second half play. I was like, it's not there yet. Jaylen Brown. You know what's crazy? It wasn't even a good shot. It was a great three-point shot, but they fucked it up. I guess not. I mean, they got it right to point one, but it wasn't like the look it looked like they wanted. It was kind of awkward. And then finally it was like, all right, fuck it, Jaylen, just take the damn three. And then boom. He's fucking good, this guy. That's what I'm saying. We as Raptor fan guys, we better fucking win this year because we're in a lot of trouble fucking in the future. Hot blonde behind the bench in Utah. Look at her. Hey, if you tune in the radio show today and we talked about Mark Lawrence's playbook and database, the Boston Celtics were in a 14-2 ATS trend. And the Boston Celtics win the game outright, 97-94. I know. I do it. I do it to myself. I do it to myself all the time, but bad. Don't worry. Listen, I gave the Celtics earlier in the day plus the points. And then I got scared with Al Horford out. And then I was like, well, I gave it to people, so I got to bet it. I can't just pussy out. So I just did it as a leap of faith. I'm like, I got to believe in the numbers here. And I just don't believe Utah should be favored by 9 points, even with the injuries. They still have Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Rozier is pretty good. Fuck, like the guy that replaces Kyrie Irving. Terry Rozier is a good player. Stevens damn good coach too.
He see his friends getting married, having kids. I was looking forward to getting married soon. You have plans, you have a future, you wanted kids, you wanted a house, and all of a sudden it's gone.
For all the loved ones killed by impaired drivers, there are countless birthdays that will never be celebrated. To find out how you can put an end to impaired driving, visit mad.ca.
You're searching a bunch of websites looking for the best hotel deal. Stop doing that to yourself. Let Trivago do it for you. Trivago compares prices from hundreds of websites and apps at the same time. It's that simple. Hotel, Trivago. The 4 times cold filtered, refreshingly smooth taste of good, genuine draft. Made for the night. Saturday, March goes out in style. The Kings Elite light up the best night of the week. This is my first star power at the ACC. Austin Matthews leads the weeks. Saturday. Here's to all the party hosts whose homes and pubs we frequent most. Here's to spending time with friends, to sharing stories, tracking trends. No matter where it all begins, go out or just stay in. Please plan ahead and choose your ride so we can all survive alive. Comprehensive headlines by Sportsnet insiders, plus highlights and live game streaming. Get Sportsnet app.
Coming up in the Mysteries of the Month countdown.
Wow, this is an absolute howler. This is just utterly careless. Steve.
Two weeks away.
Fuck, I don't get any games right now. All right. We sent over a link to Tim Anderson. Tim can come stir the pot with us. Last chance if you want in. Last chance if you want in the Major League Baseball Survivor pool. How many people do we have in this pool? One, two, three, four, five, seven. I believe there's 11, but I'll confirm with everyone that's in tomorrow in the morning. I think we're at 11 people, though. $100, so $1,100 pot. Winner take all. Major League Baseball Survivor. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun. Tim Anderson steps up and then Tim, best Rocky movie. 5.
The best Rocky movie is obviously 1.
7. All right, wait. You got something up? Maybe there's a volume up. You get turned down. I feel like Larry King. San Antonio, turn down your radio, please.
There's about 6 people who even get that reference probably in this chat, if that.
Yeah, Larry King is the best. Fuck.
Now it's just Larry King. Yeah, you're on from Vladivostok.
Hey, welcome to RT Television. Well, that's the whole thing. They say that RT Television is nothing but a Russian propaganda machine, which I say that's a lie. Larry King would never work for a Russian propaganda machine.
It's actually sad that the man needs money that badly.
You know what? I'm not offended. I'm not saddened that Larry King's on RT. I think RT gets a bad rap, actually. You and I have discussed this before.
You have, and every time you brought up their front page, they're spinning some sort
I'm
of...
not a MAGA Trumpite. I'm just stating as a neutral media observer, which I am, as a journalist that I am.
Yes, right.
And I have more integrity than most journalists out there. As a journalist that I am, I see RT as just another mainstream news outlet, Tim.
Well, that's your opinion. I think they're funded by and spinning for the Kremlin. So CNN is funded and works for the Pentagon. What difference does it make? I actually don't think they get their money from the Pentagon, and I don't think that the American government pays them to report on them. In fact, if anything, they're currently in a fight right now with the chief magistrate of the country.
Yeah, that's just right now. I know, and I'm sure that fight has nothing to do with Trump not wanting the Time Warner CNN deal going through, right? Like, that's the thing. I mean, that must be cool to be president. It's like, these cocksuckers want to talk about me 24 hours a day. Like, Trump gives a shit about antitrust exemptions, right?
Yeah, really.
Like, I'm sure he's real concerned with that. Trump's really concerned with the American viewer. Or out of spite, he's like, you know what? Now I'm in control. Fuck, I can fucking veto this fucking deal. I can just say, no, man, it's antitrust.
It's true.
It's the power of being president. Yeah, so, yeah, my deal with RT isn't here that Larry King's on RT. My deal is the fucking poor level of guests that poor Larry gets now, Tim.
Well, no, very few self-respecting people are going to go on his TV show because of the network. That's the reason. That's what there is to it, because the left and the conservative right now all hate Russia. You know, outside of a very small chasm of like people who write for The Nation magazine or, you know, hardcore MAGA people, most people despise the Russians.
I'm trying to come up with a nice name for RT, of what RT stands for. I'm struggling. You know what RT stands for? Real truth.
Yeah, real truth. Real truth in comparison to fake truth.
Well, listen, Larry King, say what you will about him. Great radio host, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. His show in Miami was legendary.
Yeah, big influence on me, actually. I grew up, I was one of the few. I was a weird person. I was like a metalhead fucking drug dealer as a teenager that listened to fucking Larry King interview John Sununu and shit, right? So I was like, I used to love Larry King's radio show, but even on TV on CNN King show, it was great. Remember when he'd get callers? He'd be like, San Antonio, Texas, you're on.
Buffalo, New York.
You're on with George Clooney.
Buffalo.
Like, Larry, it's such an honor. I just want to say how much I love, and like, she can't even say I love you. Like, he was such a prick. It was great. Even, what's the question? What's the? He'd be like, thank you, Mary. What's the question? Be like, you just hang up on her. You have to ask questions, all right? Like, you know, there's no time for formalities. I know you like the show, but it's fine. Like, Larry was basically saying, don't even tell me you like the show. Just ask a fucking question and hang up. Fuck.
Exactly. Schenectady, New York. You're on with the Pontiff.
Yeah, exactly. Bigminton, you're on with Lee Iacocca, discussing his latest book. The best is Larry King was the most clueless ever. We're on with Steven Spielberg. We're taking calls for Steven Spielberg. Steven, tell us, what was E.T. about anyways? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I have no clue. So he'd be like, you don't know what E.T. is? Larry'd be like, no, I don't know. I never saw E.T. Like, you know, he knew nothing about anything, Larry King.
No. So why the
thing is, Larry King, he'd sell after. He goes, I like to be fresh. And like, you know, I like to ask questions fresh. It's like, no, dude, you're just unprepared. All right.
Yeah. He would never read the books of anyone who would come on his show. It would just like basically riff on what the title was.
Larry King's like a real life Krusty the Clown, though. The last thing Larry King read was fucking divorce papers he's been served and a racing form. You know what I mean?
Well, I think his grandson is in the major leagues, isn't he, or his son? Either in the Dodgers system. What his name is? His name last name's King. Yeah,
I don't believe so. Larry King's kid is kind of young still. He goes to Dodger games with him. He's like a teenager now, the kid. Yeah, Larry King, so you've seen his wife, right? He's got the dime, sort of the trophy chick. Larry King had an affair with the twin sister. Like recently. Larry King's had 7 wives. So he's married to like this chick that's like 25 years younger than him or whatever like that. She's young, she's not that young, but this MILF type. She's pretty hot actually. And she has a twin sister, and Larry King was banging the twin sister. Yet they didn't get divorced. They worked it out. And, at that point, if you're Larry King, you could just say, listen, I'm old. I couldn't tell the difference. Can
you imagine when he interviewed Elizabeth Taylor that you had 15 exes? Could be watching that show.
Those, Larry King's a good guy to ask for a good fucking attorney if you're ever getting divorced,
Yeah, it's true.
San Antonio, you're on. You're on with Ross Perot.
Yeah, you're on with the president.
I remember I still use Ross Perot's line from years ago. He said, Larry, only dead and dumb people don't change their mind. And very, very good point. Only dead and dumb people do not change their mind.
Yeah, Lord Maynard Keynes used to say that he changed his opinions when the facts changed.
Yeah, so Major League Baseball starts tomorrow, just like the time-honored tradition of starting on a Thursday afternoon in Miami.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when we used to play opening day baseball in Cincinnati on a Monday in the day, and they were the only day game on opening day. Now, they're not even going to play anymore because it's getting rained out, and we're playing on a Thursday in March for reasons that aren't even clear. Like, I don't even understand what the financial gain is with this. It's just purely moronic and indefensible.
I guess they figure that that the NFL starts on Thursday. Now we'll start on, but it just seems, it just seems weird, doesn't it? It's like starting a school year on a Thursday, isn't it?
It makes no sense in the world.
It's unorthodox. It sort of sets it's just unorthodox starting on a Thursday.
Now you throw up your first Saturday games of the year up against the Final Four. Like, what sense does that make?
Well, I don't know. It's like the NCAA having CIT games head-to-head with the Sweet 16s.
Yeah, well, that's because they don't know what they're doing. And to be fair, nobody's watching CIT games. The family and friends of players at CIT games are streaming NCAA tournament games on their phones.
So 18 million Americans watched Roseanne last night. Were you one of them?
I was not. I was shocked to hear that number. I couldn't believe it. 18 million. That was more people than who watched the finale.
That's fucking insane.
It's crazy. Nothing gets that kind of number.
I guarantee you that not in a million years did anyone at ABC or Roseanne herself think that 18 fucking million people are going to watch this show.
Never, ever, ever, ever. This is one of the biggest pop culture shocks of the last 5 years.
Yeah, here it is. Here, press report. Roseanne stuns Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, my mother was telling me she watched it, and I had no idea. It's because that she watched the show 15 years ago or 20 years ago and it was on, and she wanted to see what all the characters were up to. And I was like, I bet you that's how everybody else thought about it. Like, it never occurred to me to watch it. I just figured it's another one of these. Oh, great. Will and Grace, The X-Files, just recycling. And, of course, they don't recycle good shows. Like, they never bring back WKRP in Cincinnati. They don't bring back, Rockford Files. They don't bring back good shows. Now they bring back crap sitcoms that we're supposed to care about.
You know what? WKRP you could actually get away with because
of course you could.
It would be unrealistic, right? Like, what's Johnny up to now as a host? You know what I mean? Just show him he's all beaten down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's beaten down, and Les Nessman's kid is there now. Whatever. Like, you know what's crazy? Les Nessman actually wrote a few of those episodes. You know
what? Doesn't shock me. He seemed like a really classically funny guy.
Yeah, exactly. So he played the nerd on the show, Les Nessman, but he actually was hip and he wrote a couple of the episodes and stuff. You know what's interesting here about this Roseanne stuff? New York City was not in the top 20. Los Angeles was not in the top 30. This is clearly and it's funny because the right is trying to sort of politicize this and take a interest in it, right? That, oh, look, Roseanne is a pro-Trump. That's sort of what the premise of the show is now. And you know whose idea it was? It was actually the Sarah Gilbert chick.
Sure it was. I mean, listen.
He was the one that went to Roseanne and said, listen, we should get Roseanne, but not just, for money. They don't need the money, right? The Sarah Gilbert chick's on TV. Roseanne's filthy rich. John Goodman does movies. They don't need the money. But they like the idea of, listen, we'll make Roseanne Roseanne would have been in the show a Trump supporter. And let's just fucking basically fight about it and shit. And look, 18 million people tune in.
They did. I mean, because the culture war is 24/7 now, which is
so what market do you think watched Roseanne the most? This is fascinating.
I mean, I would say somewhere like Topeka or
Oklahoma.
I was going to say or Oklahoma City, yeah, like that area.
Also, Oklahoma ate it up. Fuck.
Yeah, somewhere in the heartland.
Yeah. Number 2, Cincinnati. Interesting. Now, look, Trump won Oklahoma with a 65% of the vote.
Yeah.
Followed by Cincinnati, Ohio, and Kansas City.
He carried both of those states very comfortably.
The only marquee city from a blue state in the top 10 was Chicago at number 5, where the series is set.
Exactly. That's right.
Interesting.
I mean, and of course, the irony of all these people saying, oh, great, Roseanne is a Trump supporter, blah, blah, blah. Roseanne is a left-wing loon who ran on the Green Party ticket in 2012.
That's the best thing that I love, though, that Greg Gutfield and the Five and everyone are praising Roseanne today. When I'm thinking, she fucking hates you.
She's a left-wing
nut job. Blocking you. You guys just are too stupid to get it.
Yeah, like I said, she ran on the presidential line of the Green Party in 2012. And it's crazy.
People that though, like people in Tulsa were like, "Damn right, Roseanne." It's like to shadow them and say, "Listen, she's actually a nut job that fucking spat on the fucking national anthem."
Yeah, she's crazy.
And is actually, she's not a Republican. Like, I don't think people realize this.
She was like before Trump was crazy on Twitter. Roseanne Barr was crazy on Twitter. You know, if you're one of the,
I used to not be a Roseanne fan, and I found her annoying until I found out she was a 9/11 truther. Then I was like, you know what?
An absolute loon.
All right, fuck.
That's what I mean. She's a loon.
I saw Roseanne going off on 9/11 once. I was like, damn, fuck. I didn't realize she was fucking into this shit.
Yeah, she's crazy.
So yeah, just for the record, though, it is the biggest comedy telecast on television in 3.5 motherfucking years, man.
Yeah, probably since like the end of How I Met Your Mother or something.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory. I think when they killed off fucking Buddy there.
Yeah, sure. No, I could see that.
That's fucking hilarious.
No, I'm sure ABC is absolute. The problem is ABC is now going to immediately request 5,000 episodes of this show because they will milk this for every dime they can squeeze.
Drusilla says an insane person calling her crazy. Who's insane, me or Tim?
Like she's actually an unstable person. Go look at the stuff she was saying in 2012. And even last year and 2 years ago, she's a very unstable. You know, you want to like her, great.
No country saying that she's pro-Trump. She's not pro-Trump. She wasn't pro-Hillary though.
Her character on the show.
She's a fucking independent nut job.
Yeah, I mean, and the things that she would have liked about Trump are the exact sort of things that us conservatives would not have liked about Trump, right? So.
Well, I know. I mean, but yeah, you know, I know you guys. You know, you're all about morality and not sleeping around. And
well, I mean,
not getting divorced and all that type of stuff.
That's deeply unfortunate. I mean,
spanked by porn stars with magazines. That's all about the
listen, it's really problematic. But when Bill Clinton got away with this stuff and it was covered over, it softened the ground for another president to be even worse. And that's what
I actually saw Newt Gingrich saying that he didn't, it's like, dude, you tried to impeach him for the shit. So,
well, they tried to impeach him for lying under oath.
Yeah, I know. It is different.
It is. But no, listen, but I was going to say I was critical of some of his foreign policy, but they brought on John Bolton, who I love. So, I'm not too upset about that.
Oh, God. What do you...
I'm a fan of his.
Love John Bolton?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I'm glad to see some adults.
You actually, like, our boy Jazz, actually, I think he sincerely dislikes you because of your political takes.
Get in line.
And now, this is the most unfortunate thing that you've said ever. Like, I'd rather fucking listen to Michael Bolton for the rest of my fucking life than say, like John Bolton, dude. He might be like one of the scariest people that walks the face of the earth.
Oh, no, that's an exaggeration.
I'm not a shock. Like, you're a neocon warhawk, so I guess I'm not surprised.
Not even a neocon. Like a neocon is all about democracy promotion. John Bolton,
he fucking dodged the war, but the guy wants to start wars all the time.
Okay, well, that's it. That you can question his character of that if you want. That's fair game. But do I like some of his policies? Yes, I do.
Fucking mustache too.
Listen, that is a manly mustache. and it cannot be taken lightly. It's impressive.
All right. So baseball tomorrow.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's opening day. I got to watch.
Yeah, Major League Baseball season is upon us. We were talking. You think the baseballs are juiced? Do you think they'll still be juiced this year?
I don't think we'll see a big difference from last year. I think ratings are up. Things are good. I don't see a big change from that last year.
Yeah, I think they want to keep things going the way that they go. All right, so do you have any bold predictions for us for the baseball season?
Well, one of my biggest predictions, and you're going to laugh, but last week I predicted that the San Francisco Giants would be my NL champion. And then the next day, Madison Bumgarner broke his hand. And then Samardzija got hurt. And then now their rookie phenom, who's going to be called up, tore his UCL in his arm. And so the Giants have gotten very hurt, which has got nothing to do with me, but I had picked them to be sort of an upset pick in the National League.
So the curse lives. Then the curse is real.
I don't believe that, but unfortunately, I'm getting blamed for it.
So please tell me you like Loyola Chicago to beat Michigan this week.
Yeah, I do, in a very low-scoring game, in a game where those kids are not ready for that arena. The rims are very ungenerous. The sight lines at the Alamo Dome suck. I think that's a game played in the low 60s.
Yeah, the total's going up at 129.5.
Yeah, I would play the
betting the total. It's such a gamble of these games. We talked about it earlier. You're playing in the football stadium. Listen, the Alamo Dome's not quite as big as some cavernous as some of these, sort of like the Carrier Dome, where it sort of has the basketball feel to it. But 129 points, not a lot of points, Tim.
Put it this way, I would certainly hammer first half under. And if I miss on that, then I miss on that. But that's the first half where they're getting used to the sight lines. The rims are fresh. They're brand new rims for the first half of that game. There, I think the under is a pretty safe lock. If the game goes over, teams get hot, they adjust, they settle into their system in the second half. I see it. But in the first half anyway, I think that's a low number.
So who do you think wins the game outright?
I don't have a strong feeling on it, but I would pick the Ramblers only because I think Michigan is a bit fraudulent. Houston beat the heck out of them and only got past Houston on a miracle shot.
Are you kidding me? You're talking about that fucking Houston game? Michigan showed resiliency. That's how it works.
They showed resiliency.
You're Loyola Chicago, dude. They won their first 3 games by a margin of 4 fucking points. And not to mention, they've been getting every fucking ball, and the shit's been fucking fixed for Sister Jean to get to the fucking Final Four.
Well, that may be true. I mean, they didn't fix it so that the best team in the country would lose in their bracket, so they wouldn't have to play them in Virginia.
Kid traveled against Nevada at the end of the fucking game.
Definitely traveled. I don't deny that for a second. Look, I don't like either of these teams. I think I don't like the way. I mean, I like their style of play, but I think that they've both had incredibly easy roads and have sort of gotten off scot-free. Michigan didn't have to play North Carolina. Michigan didn't have to play Xavier. So they got to skate through. And, of course, Loyola didn't get to play Virginia, the best team in the country by a mile. So both of these teams are very lucky to be here.
If Virginia was the best team in the country, they'd still be playing.
They had a freak one-off game. These things happen. You know that these things happen. It was a freakish situation.
They lost to Maryland, Baltimore County.
They did in a weird one-off game. These things happen. I mean, anyway, my point being Michigan and Loyola have skated here. Michigan is the more talented team, but I'm
glad you're on Loyola Chicago. Good.
But I think I would take the Ramblers in this game.
All right. So Grab a Max in the chat asks, who are you cursing in the Villanova, Kansas game?
I think the Wildcats wax them. The best team left in the tournament last weekend was Duke by a mile. Duke beat the crap out of Kansas.
Yeah, that's right, the Duke. Now you're really going to upset Kyle Hamp.
The Blue Devils played great against Kansas. Grayson refused to give up the ball at the end of many open looks, put the game away. Kansas hits.
What did I tweet before the game?
Yeah, you said he never played big and big.
To win. I don't trust Grayson Allen in a big game.
Even though Grayson Allen, in the biggest game of his career against Wisconsin, the national championship game, played great and was the reason they won that game. Yeah, Grayson had a chance to pass up. He's the only veteran on the court. He thought he had to take it on himself. I think that's unfortunate. They played ISO on that. I didn't like it. Kansas had a miracle 3 before that to get in. Garbage calls on Carter to keep him out of the game. For a change, the Dukies didn't get the whistles. The Blue Devils were a significantly better team. They would have been a real challenge for Villanova.
Kansas were the better team and are the better team.
Kansas is a rock chalk choking team. I expect the Wildcats to beat them and beat them pretty comfortably.
John Bolton, Duke, Notre Dame.
Gonzaga. I'm a big Gonzaga booster as well.
Well, again, I'm surprised. I'm surprised they're not too leftist for you there, Tim, out there. Pacific Northwest.
That's a Catholic school in the Pacific North. Again, Washington State is a Republican state with Seattle in the middle. Like the whole, if you look at the map of Washington State, it's all blood red except for that little circle around Seattle.
I like what Kyle Hamburg says. You don't have an off game versus a 16 seed.
They did.
You don't have
32 this year.
16 seeds were 108-0, man. 108 wins, 0 fucking losses. And Virginia goes out there. Great year for the University of Virginia.
It's really
fucking lose and the fucking lose, become the first 1 seed. Good job.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, I think that Virginia team was so loaded with talent, and they could have easily won this tournament. So it was disappointing that they went out the way they did. I wanted to see them challenge a team like Loyola, who just would have been broken apart by the Cavaliers had they gotten the plan. But it is what it is. They lost. The tournament's not about who the best team is. The tournament's about crowning a champion. That's what we're interested in. And both Michigan and Loyola can be champions, even though they're not the better teams. That's all that really matters, that they can have a chance to be champions.
Well, you're talking about the Big Ten champions in the Michigan Wolverines team.
They won the Big Ten tournament, which again,
they're a 3 seed.
They're a lovely team.
They're a 3 seed.
They got to avoid the 1 and the 2 seed in their brackets, but they're a good team.
Michigan were one of 5 teams in college basketball, Tim, to average more than 73 points a game, give up less than 73 points a game, have an average margin of victory of 7 points or more, play a top 25 schedule, have a coach who's been in the NCAA tournament at least 6 times and at least 1 Elite 8, been in the tournament the year before, or have an All-American on their team. Only 5 teams in the country met that criteria, and 16 of the last 17 national champions meet that criteria, and 3 teams are left standing to meet that criteria. Michigan, Kansas, Villanova, which means that Michigan's an elite team.
Sure. We can say that.
4th-ranked defense in all of college basketball.
I think all of those are very fair points. And I would not be surprised in the least if they beat Loyola. They're better than Loyola. I'm just playing on a hunch that I think that Loyola will be less tight. Michigan is expected to win this game. The Ramblers aren't, but Michigan could totally win. I don't think it matters. I think the Wildcats will devour whoever they play. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. So Tony Sincata's in the chat. He says you're the Skip Bayless of handicapping.
If I was the Skip Bayless of anything, I would live in a much bigger house.
Dallas Mavericks and Lakers, 87-83. The game's slowing down here in the second half. And the Arizona Coyotes, man, on the verge, close, 2.5 minutes left of a major upset. Not really, because we actually like the Coyotes plus a puck and a half here this evening. So Tim says either way, Villanova ends up winning. Hey, we grabbed that under 7.5 actually in game. That's good. Fuck, 3-2 here still. So we'll keep our eye on that. All right, Tim. So Odell Beckham Jr.
Sure.
New York Giants reportedly have said, if you really want him, we want 2 first-round draft picks for him. I said I would give the 2 first-round draft picks for Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, you can get him for less. So you gave him if you gave someone the Sam Bradford deal, here's a first and a third. I think the New York Giants would take it from just about any team, except the team like in the NFC East. From any other squad, like if you talk about the Rams or you talk about the Bears or you talk about someone in the AFC, I think, reasonably speaking, you could look at the Browns. You could look at the Bengals as teams that could do that. Sure. First and a third, totally worth it. Get him out of your life. He's a receiver. Receivers are everyone who is in a top 5 QB is replaceable in the NFL. You can trade him for a first and a third. So if you can get 2 firsts, hey, great. I just don't think anyone's going to pay that for a wide receiver who isn't named Jerry Rice.
Look, if I'm the Buffalo Bills and we've got the 12 and the 22nd pick, I would give them. I'd say, listen, we'll give you the 22nd pick and a first round next year, or the 12th pick and a second round next year.
Sure, and you know what?
You sort of put it on the table and move it around a bit, but a lot of people are negative. And listen, I've criticized Odell Beckham in the past. I didn't like the boat trip the week of the playoff game. I don't like some of the drama that he brings to the table, but I've brought this up a million times about him, is that he's not disliked by the coaches.
No, he's a lovely
player. He's not disliked by his teammates. He's not Albert Bell. He's not like a big drama machine in the room or anything.
Poor Albert Bell.
The media is attracted to him, and he embraces that off the field. But like I'm just stating, he's not a bad kid in the room.
No.
Bitch when he doesn't get the ball. If the team wins, he's in a good mood. He's not a bad teammate. That's the thing. So the media is going to try to turn him into this, oh, he's this and he's that, and he's a monster fucking distraction and all this shit. He's just a raw kid. He's emotional. And I think it might do him good to get out of New York, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he could always go across the hall to the Jets, and that would be fine. I mean, there'd be less pressure on him there. But I think that you say Buffalo is second and their 12th pick. Reasonable, although Buffalo just gave away all kinds of draft picks for a receiver that didn't pan out. So do they really want to go back down that road again?
Up too much for that. Don't forget the Buffalo Bills. We've been stockpiling draft picks, right?
Well, they gave up a lot for Sammy Watkins.
There's ever a time you want to, you got to use your picks wisely. So I brought this up, and without a doubt, the fact of the matter is, in the NFL, when you trade up, it usually backfires. Like it's not the wise thing to do. Like I get that, but at the same point in time, if you haven't been successful in 20 fucking years with all these picks, like at some point, you're like, you know what, fuck it. And I brought it up with the Cleveland Browns. Look, people criticized the Philadelphia Eagles at the time for moving up and giving the Browns as much as they did, so they could draft Carson Wentz.
The Eagles just won the Super Bowl.
The Eagles won the Super Bowl, and the Cleveland Browns are still fucking. They've won one in 31 in the last 2 years.
Also with the Browns.
They had, right?
The Atlanta Falcons gave to the Browns 1,000 picks to take Julio Jones. Julio Jones got them to a Super Bowl, should have won them a Super Bowl, and got them to several other playoff games. So they won that trade.
I think I like Julio Jones better than Beckham just because he's a monster without the fucking drama. Thing with, like I said, Odell's not a bad kid, but.
No, he's a fine kid. He may need to get out. He may need to go to a place like, well, I think LA is probably a bad place for him, but somewhere like Cleveland. Somewhere like,
Cleveland's already loaded, though. They got Jarvis Landry, Josh Gordon, Corey Coleman.
He's still better than anyone they've got, so you would take him. And the Browns have picks and money, so what do they care?
The one team that actually has reportedly sort of been the most interested in this is the LA Rams.
Sure. I mean, they need someone to replace Watkins on the outside.
If you're Beckham, man, like that's your fucking dream. You get out of New York, you go to Los Angeles. The media is much softer. You can do fucking a million ass commercials and shit. Like his agent, they must be drooling at the prospect of that. But Cam brought up a good point with Seattle. Seattle will be a nice fit for him. You got Pete Carroll, he could handle Odell. Russell Wilson's an elite quarterback that you could use an elite wide receiver. Seattle, they've let a lot of guys go. They have some money under the cap. They could figure it out. San Francisco would be a real nice fit.
Oh yeah, that would be a great fit.
And shit. And San Francisco, I think, would do it, but I don't think they want to give up their picks. And then, of course, you got the Raiders, who the Raiders are going to call about him.
Sure. I still, in the end, don't think he's going anywhere. I think that New York will balk and will keep him. But I hadn't thought of Seattle. But Seattle's actually a very interesting landing spot for him. It would make a lot of sense to be there with a star quarterback.
I think it's a mistake if New York keeps him. I agree with Tony.
Well, you keep him unless you get you don't give him away for nothing.
Eli Manning fucking sucks. Like, who cares if you have Odell Beckham or not? Like, yeah, Odell Beckham's going to make you better. He could also get hurt. I can see it happening where Odell comes back, Eli gets him fucking killed on some bad pass, and then you're like, oh, fuck, we should have fucking traded him when people were offering the 2 first-round picks. Like, the Giants are rebuilding right now. You got Eli Manning there. Eli's done. They're going to, let's say they let Eli play one more year here, and I don't even know if that happened. I mean, they might draft a quarterback. So, let's say Eli plays this one last year. He gets his little swan song. what's the point of keeping Beckham for a swan song, and then after having Beckham, having to learn with a young quarterback and shit, will get pissed off and restless. And another thing is, the Giants are a cheap organization that don't want to pay him $25 million a year.
I think that's all fair. And Gettleman has not been afraid to get rid of his stars in the past, whether it be Josh Norman or Steve Smith or whomever. So when he was GM of the Panthers. So that's his MO as well, is to throw young talent out the door if they don't suit his eye. But I still think that they won't get offered.
Go down Beckham and Cam Newton. That'd be great. No drama there.
But they won't offer. I don't think the Giants will get offered what they want, and therefore will not sell him for that reason.
Yeah, I know. And also, it's not like you're going to win a public relations war if you're the New York Giants right now.
No.
Giant fans are unhappy the way things have gone the last couple of years as is. And it's a pretty tough sell to say, oh, yeah, you know what? We have one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in the last fucking 40 years. But, you know, we didn't like a video and we didn't really want to pay him. I think it's going to come to that. I don't know. I don't think the Giants want to do this because it's just sort of like, it's sort of like a couple breaking up fast, Tim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like everything's okay. Yeah, not perfect, but it's one bad night. And then the next day it's like, oh, no, I'm not taking her call anymore, or vice versa. This could, at first I thought this was nothing, Tim, but it's grown in the last few days. And it's one of these deals where I think Odell sort of perked up. Oh, yeah? Good. Fuck. Because I want out of here anyways. And now I think Odell's going to fucking punk him and just say, you know what? $25 million. Otherwise, I'll hold out. I think he's going to put him in a corner. And I think Mara put himself in a corner when he badmouthed him at the fucking meetings and he went on record stating that they're tired of his bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that most of that's fair. Of course, this is New York, where the New York tabloids have an incentive to try to make this seem more confrontational than it maybe really is. If I were the Giants, no player's dictating to me what they're going to do to me. I'll Keyshawn them. I'll treat them like Keyshawn Johnson. That's fine. You don't get to play anymore then. You get to spend an entire year on the bench, and then you'll come back and you'll negotiate, or you won't negotiate. But you are not going to dictate terms to me where you play and how much you get paid. That's not how this works.
The New York Giants have really become a joke, man. I got no faith in them doing the right thing on this. Like,
no, I don't either.
They're drafting shit. Like, they're going to fuck this draft pick up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I believe between 2013 and 2016, or maybe it was 2010 to 2013, all the players they drafted are off of the team. Like, they don't have any of those players anymore. They've done a terrible job drafting.
So I'm curious your take on this. I said last night that Brandon Weeden, who somehow just got another job, Tim.
I know.
As baffling as your fucking love for John Bolton.
I mean, you were talking about the cushiest job in sports there a couple hours ago. Backup quarterback is most decisively the cushiest job because Brandon Weeden has been exposed 100 times as being inadequate, and people keep rolling the Brinks truck up saying, please, how much can we pay you today?
I said last night, I think Brandon Weeden is arguably one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League.
Maybe it's arguable.
Like, I mean, I said to people, throw me a name of a guy who's worse. Throw me a name of a guy who's worse. And there was only one guy. And I got to tell you, Tim, people dug down pretty deep. Like, they were busting out Rusty Hillard and shit like that. Like, they went deep. I told them, let's not go back too far here. We're not going back to the Mark Malone days. But the only quarterback that I said, it's not Joe Flacco, Drew.
No, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
Joe Flacco. Ryan Leaf. No, well, Ryan Leaf.
Now, yeah. Jamarcus Russell has a strong case to make. He was the first overall pick and was a complete and utter flameout.
Yeah, you know what? I can't dispute that. Brandon Weeden's better than Jamarcus Russell.
So he's there. Aliki Smith was a complete and utter flameout. People forget about him maybe. He was god-awful.
Yeah, Scott Tolzien was the guy.
Scott Tolzien. He was awful.
But I almost feel like it's not fair if we're going to use guys that were sort of like Ryan Leaf Ryan Leaf had a drug problem, was out of the league in 2 years.
You remember Scott Mitchell? People loved Scott Mitchell. He was terrible.
Dude, they ran Dan Marino out of town for Scott Mitchell.
They most certainly did. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
You remember Scott Mitchell had one good year with the Detroit Lions, Wayne
year.
Fonts.
Yes, I do.
And didn't they fucking beat Philadelphia like 66-20 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. And people went nuts for him, and he turned out to be
The Miami Dolphins gave Scott Mitchell, big left-hander, Scott Mitchell, a shitload of fucking money. And he was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I don't understand why Brandon Whedon keeps getting jobs. Like, at least
Chris Simmons pretty bad.
Like, I remember when Jeff George kept getting work, but he kept getting work because he had a cannon of an arm. He didn't play the position well.
Jeff George is Jay Cutler.
People kept talking themselves into, well, Jay Cutler had some better seasons than Jeff George did. People kept talking themselves into, well, he's got such a cannon of an arm. The same with Rick Meyer. People did that too. They talked themselves into Rick Meyer for forever. He hung around the league for a while.
Two words they always used to say about Jeff George all the time?
No, what was it?
Quick release.
Yeah, quick release, yeah.
They were like, yeah, you know, he's the biggest asshole and biggest jerk quarterback we've ever met in our life. But, man, he's got a quick release. You know?
Yeah, whereas Brandon Whedon.
Jeff George, he'd drop back and pass, and it was like a magician. Like, you didn't even see him do it. He had, like, the flick of the wrist, like, ding, and it would zip out. The guy threw a great ball, man.
This is why he kept getting work.
But he really was the most miserable person ever to play in a National Football League, I think. Like, I don't think he smiled once in his life, that guy.
No, it's true. And in that sense, he is like Cutler. But my point was, I mean, Whedon keeps getting work, and he doesn't have any of those. He was old. He doesn't have any of those tangibles. I don't understand why he gets work. Like, Mark Sanchez is about to be signed by the Seahawks, apparently, to be their backup quarterback. Like, I don't know what else you need to see from Mark Sanchez to know that you don't want him to play. Like, he's been given multiple opportunities to resuscitate his career, and at every turn has been bad. I don't. But again, if you're a quarterback and you can, you know, stand on two legs and be a backup, you can make so much money that it doesn't matter if you're any good.
So you're a Jet fan. Remember Richard Todd?
I most certainly remember Richard Todd. Another, again.
He wasn't terrible, though, Richard Todd.
No, he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't good. Like, I've got a franchise where my best ever quarterback is Ken O'Brien. So what does that
mean? You have nice memories of Ken O'Brien?
No, Ken O'Brien's a little bit before my time, so I don't have great memories of him. I do have some great memories of Vinny.
Ken O'Brien, listen, if you look at stats,
Ken O'Brien, a good quarterback.
Ken O'Brien had like some 3,000-yard seasons.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like, he had a lot of 300-yard passing games, but I just sort of remember Ken O'Brien with the Jets just sort of losing all the time, high-scoring games.
He was like the
beats Ken O'Brien again.
Yeah, Ken O'Brien was the Phillip Rivers of that draft. A marvelously talented quarterback who just never achieved greatness in the postseason or anything like that.
Now, Eric Hipple, settle down. We're going back with Eric Hipple. Yeah, Chris Hackenberg, another one of your Jet quarterbacks.
Hackenberg hasn't thrown a pass. Like, we can just put a big fat I for incomplete next to him. He might be the worst ever, but you will never know because he's never thrown the ball. So, like, there's no case evidence.
Hackenberg, though, like, he skips passes in practice and shit, like when there's no one defending.
People were freaking out last week.
Video. You remember in camp, the Jets were all pissed off. I think they revoked the pass of one of the reporters.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, like, Hackenberg there was no one there, and Hackenberg, like, just fucking bounced the pass to someone. And Buddy put it on Twitter, on Periscope, and said, oh, God, Hackenberg. And the Jets were like, all right, you're done, fuck. It's like, dude.
Last week, people were freaking out saying, oh, the Jets gave up all these second-round picks to move up a couple of spots. And I was like, this is the same organization and same general manager who took Christian Hackenberg in the second round. I have no faith that those picks are going to be used effectively. Let's move up 3 spots, get a quarterback that we love. The AFC East is quickly turning over. You could have, in a year's time, the best quarterback in the division.
I guess it happened when I was in Vegas. Fuck. Like, I got to be honest. I know about it now, but I missed it. I was like, what? The Jets traded? It's like, so the Jets now have the 3rd pick in the draft hit.
Yeah, they gave up their 6th pick.
So what did they give up? The 6th pick and what?
And their 3 second-round picks.
And 3 second-round picks.
But you know what? Considering what the Redskins had to give up,
motherfucking like whoever they're going to get. Like,
yeah, but you know what? The Redskins, the Eagles, the Rams, all those teams that moved up into the top 3 spots all gave up multiple first-round picks.
I know.
The Jets only had to swap their first-round pick this year. And again, their Jets don't know what they're doing with any of these second-round picks. So
yeah, but I'm saying, look at all these picks, and then people are calling me crazy because I say, oh, I'd give up 2-round picks for fucking Odell Beckham.
Sure. No, Beckham is
And
probably.
Odell Beckham will be better than any wide receiver that comes in the league this year. You're not. There's no Odell Beckham. So
No, there probably is not.
you're getting a star player, right? So you sort of know what you're getting. But who do you want? What do you want the Jets to do now with the 3? They're saying that Sam Darnold's going to go first overall to Cleveland.
Great. He's the one I don't want.
Yeah, but then just because they say that doesn't mean it's true.
No, it doesn't. I want Rosen, but if we get Allen, I'll be happy as well.
Jim Mora Jr. Jim Mora Jr. went on the NFL Network and said if he was the Cleveland Browns, he would take Sam Darnold over Josh Rosen.
Yeah, well, I would have responded if I were Sam Darnold by saying there's a reason Jim Mora lasted 1 season as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. He doesn't quite know how to run an NFL team.
I think Jim Mora is blowing smoke up their ass and trying to fucking get Josh Rosen out of there.
Maybe, but if I was one of those kids, I would come up to the microphone and say, listen, I want to be the quarterback who saves football in Cleveland. I want to be the guy who etches his name next to the Chicago Cubs and all these teams that have finally made the resurgence and won a big championship.
Josh Allen said that.
Yeah, put it on my shoulders. I want the challenge.
Josh Allen, though, Josh Allen's smart, man. He's saying the right things to everyone. He said he'd be honored to be a Cleveland Brown.
And he should be.
Where he told people that Bill's Mafia is the best NFL fans. He's loved to be a Bill. Like he's telling anyone, hey, I want your job, fuck.
And like I said, I think that we're going to end up with Rosen. But if we get Allen, I'm great with that. I like those kids a lot, so that's fine with me.
This really is fucking unpredictable, isn't it, Tim?
Well, the Giants are going to take the pass rusher, Chubb, I think, too.
Will they?
Yeah, I feel like they're going to take a pass rusher.
How do Giants not take fucking Josh Rosen?
Because you just gave up JPP to open a spot for a brand new pass rusher who has, I think that's what they're doing there.
I think someone in the chat, Vilas, is talking about Rosen. I think Rosen was cold to the Browns deliberately, actually.
And that's fair.
I mean, that's acted aloof and sort of, I don't think he's in a hurry. He wants to go to New York. I don't think he cares if it's the Giants or the Jets. He wants to be in New York.
And I think he would fit in great in New York. The Jets did a smart thing by bringing back McCown, and Bridgewater means this kid doesn't have to play this year. He can spend the whole year holding the clipboard on the bench and learning about the position.
Bring Josh Rosen into New York City. They're going to want to see this motherfucker play right away, bro.
No, if McCown
I'm talking the fan base. They're going to be like, throw him out there, man.
No, see, as a member of the fan base,
I know you got
time on message boards.
You're really going to bring Rosen in as well. You have to almost feel that they will.
They will if the season's lost. The same way the Eagles did with not the Eagles with Wentz, but who was it this year that mentored a quarterback? I'm trying to think who it was. Anyway,
Sean Watson. They wanted to start Tom Savage.
They did. They started Tom Savage in week 1, and then. But the difference is Tom Savage sucks.
I'm listening. The odds
is actually not terrible.
Yeah, and Bill O'Brien's an idiot. Fuck. We asked how does Brandon Whedon get a job because Bill O'Brien.
Not only does he not
give this guy a job twice, Tim.
I was in the Super 7 contest, which is like the Super contest last year, and I took the Texans 7 or 8 times this year, and I will never, ever, ever, ever take the Texans again in the contest. Bill O'Brien doesn't know what he's doing. He's kicking extra points when he's down 8. He isn't using timeouts. And when he is using them, he's using them before the 2-minute warning. And he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm done with him.
Coach. He's a horrible coach. And, I actually legitimately, if you look at the talent that the Houston Texans have, and the ownership group told him this last year, he's fucking lucky that fucking Deshaun got hurt because it saved his ass again. Dude, they even told him. They said, listen, the owner of the Texans, like in GM, like confronted him and said, every year we sign this guy and that guy, and we've given you this and that. And they said, you're 9-7 every year.
Yeah, nobody does less than
more. You have to do better. And then he decides that Tom Savage should be the starter. Now he just signs Brandon Whedon. He's a fucking moron. As you stated, the guy coaches games. He makes horrible personnel decisions. He thinks he's a quarterback guru. And he makes horrible roster decisions. And he's done this for years. He's had control and an endless money pit in Houston. They get him whatever he needs. It's a first-class organization. And then he wants to start Tom Savage. And then, like you said, on top of that, he's a fucking horrible in-game coach. He coaches not to lose. Like, he shows up in these playoff games and then, let's play it safe and lose by 7 type of shit all the time. He's a horrible coach. And it's too bad because I think they have the talent to beat the Patriots, but I just have zero confidence in betting that the fucking Houston Texans can fucking win the AFC at 14-1 with this moron as their coach.
No, exactly. Nobody does less with more than Bill O'Brien. And the AFC South is turning into quite a stacked conference. So Houston may have missed their moment. With
Deshaun Watson, though, just a pure superstar, though.
Deshaun Watson is a lovely player, but he played, 6 games? Like, we still need to be a little bit reticent about that. We've seen players before have meteoric 5 or 6 game stretches and then falter back. So it's also coming off a catastrophic knee injury. So, like, I like Deshaun Watson. I like the Texans. I would not pick them to win the AFC South. I think I would probably pick Tennessee right now if I had to. I like what the Titans are doing there, basically becoming Patriot South and building a good institution there.
So listen, we can talk football all night, but let's talk about something that's prevalent with football, with the NFL draft around the corner. Still a couple of weeks away, but it's approaching.
Yeah.
So sportsbooks have put out odds here. Sam Darnold's -175 right now, I see. Huh? First pick. Saquon Barkley's +333. I think that Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley are both good bets here. Just because the media and Mel Kiper says that the Browns are taking Sam Darnold doesn't mean that they will. They just brought in Tyrod Taylor. They're fucking stacked at wide receiver and shit. To me, and there's good quarterbacks you can get later, Tim. The Mason Rudolphs of the world. Take a stab. Lamar Jackson.
I really like Lamar Jackson. I know that may sound dumb. I like Lamar Jackson.
I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan. I think Lamar Jackson's going to go in the mid-first round, and someone's going to get a steal.
Yeah, I think he'll go a little later than that. I think he'll probably go in the early 20s, but he should go earlier than that. If you're the Saints who need your quarterback of the future and you're picking at like 21, go grab him. Or you're the Chargers who needs a quarterback of the future.
Sean Payton likes the throwing quarterback. I'll just come out and say it. Have the Saints ever had a black quarterback, like a black running quarterback?
Yeah.
Sean Payton, even as a backup. You know what I mean?
Michael Vick's cousin. What was his name? Aaron?
Aaron Brooks. Good call. Aaron
Brooks
was his quarterback. Yeah, good call. I'm not saying Sean Payton's a racist. I'm just stating the style of quarterback.
I think Sean Payton is probably gone sooner than later anyway. I think he's leaving sooner than later anyway. I think he'll go when Breeze goes. That's what I mean. I actually do agree with that. So if I were the Saints, if I were the Chargers, I would be looking to get my quarterback of the future. I think
Arizona Cardinals should take a look at Lamar Jackson.
Arizona would make a lot of sense for certain.
I keep hearing, and you know what? I really believe it to be true too. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to take him. They need a quarterback. And what are the Bengals doing, anyways? They let AJ McCarron go. Well, he sued them to get out and shit. But so AJ's gone. He's a Bill now.
The Bengals are looking to spend as little money as humanly possible.
I understand, they stated that, they announced basically that Marvin Lewis was going to get let go.
Yeah, but they did because Mike Brown doesn't fire people.
They fucking win one game at the end of the year on a fucking fluke play, gets the Bills into the playoffs.
Now, see, I like the Bengals.
Marvin Lewis gets to stay. But the thing is, even Marvin Lewis fucking finally stated that, we're going to take a look at quarterback and sort of move on here. But Dalton's still there right now.
Of course he is. He's under contract.
I know, and he makes $20 million, so no one wants him.
No, exactly.
Hit for the cap if they let him go. They're kind of fucked.
And he'll play because Mike Brown is not going to pay somebody $20 million a year to be on the bench. He's going to make him play.
I think they draft. Like I said, I think they're going to draft a quarterback.
I could
let Dalton play sort of. If they need to bench Dalton this year, they bench him. But I think they'll draft. Lamar Jackson.
I could see it. There are some teams that need quarterbacks lower, like the Steelers, who need a backup quarterback desperately.
My prediction, though, is this is what I'm saying, guys. Listen, the draft's still a little ways away. These odds are going to change and stuff. And all it takes is a Mel Kiper says or a couple of media reports.
Yeah, and then it starts to roll.
Yeah, like I said, the last 2 days, it's like a lock suddenly. Oh, the Browns, they're taking Darnold. Nobody fucking knows who the Browns are taking. All right? The Browns don't know who the Browns are taking right now.
But the one piece of advice I would give people with the NFL draft is that most of these NFL teams are stupid, and they make the same stupid mistakes every single year.
I said the same thing. They're not logical, right? So you can't bet this with logic. That's why I would say, Tim, Sam Darnold's minus 175.
They keep making the same mistakes
They
every
might take him. Saquon Barkley, to me, if I'm the Browns, that's who I'd take. You get a star running back. You got Gordon. You got Landry. You got Tyrod Taylor. You got Coleman. You're stacked with young defensive guys. Just get Saquon Barkley. Don't.
Yeah, and if you love like Baker Mayfield, you can take him at 4. He'll be there.
Yeah, they got a 1 and a 4, huh?
Exactly. So you take Barkley at 1. You have the 4 pick. Either you hold an auction for the 4 pick or the 1 pick if you want. You know what? If you want Barkley,
I'm anti-Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I don't like him either. But I'm saying if the Browns did, you could take him at 4, or I said you could trade away that first pick for a boatload. Take Barkley at 4 because he'll probably be there, and draft a quarterback later. I mean, I could see it happening. I don't think it will. I think the Browns will take their quarterback at 1.
I don't know if Barkley lasts to 4, man.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to. I mean, the Giants aren't taking him.
Why not?
The Jets aren't taking him.
Why? Let's say the Giants keep Odell Beckham Jr.
I think they'll take a pass rusher. I think they desperately need one.
They desperately need a running back.
You can find
They
a
should have
running.
taken Dalvin Cook last year.
Yeah, well, but then Cook got hurt, so we don't know how good Cook is going to be either. I would take a pass rusher.
Cook looked real. What do you mean we don't know how good Cook? Dalvin Cook's a stud.
But then he got hurt.
The kid was a stud when he was playing, and he's going to be a stud when he comes back. So my point is, though, the Cleveland Brown bet here, Sam Darnold, first overall pick, minus 175. I think it's a bad bet.
I wouldn't bet minus 175, no.
Berkeley or on Josh Allen. And I'm telling you, I think Josh Allen's going to surprise people, and he's going to get drafted higher than people think.
Well, I don't think he's
second. Also, don't forget, guys, this is like politics. The Browns could be leaking shit that they're going to take Darnold. They could be sort of, speak loudly at the draft and, or sort of at the combine and meet publicly. And they could be setting a fucking plant that, let everyone thinking we're going to take Darnold and we're going to fucking take Allen. Because half the fucking battle of this shit is figuring out what the other teams are going to take if you're an NFL general manager. So Cleveland could be fucking around. I think for betting purposes, Saquon Barkley at plus 333 and Josh Allen at plus 450. I think the Browns don't want Rosen because they think he's kind of a dickhead kid and they know that he doesn't really want to be there. Josh Allen's from Wyoming. He played at Wyoming. I don't actually know where he's born. Fuck, he played at Wyoming. He's played in cold winter snow games. He's thrown a football in the snow. He's a rah-rah big kid. I think Josh Allen's a good fit for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I'll go with you with the Josh Allen pick. I don't mind that at all. I really don't think the Browns, as much as I can see the attractiveness of taking a running back at 1, I just don't think they're going to take him. Josh Allen's from California.
Was he born in California? Huh?
Yeah, he was born in Firebaugh, California, wherever Firebaugh is.
Firebaugh, California.
It's in Fresno County.
Okay, so he's a Bay Area kid. Here's the Buffalo Bills, NFL.com reporting. Buffalo Bills are going to trade up, and they want Josh Allen.
Well, the only spot to trade up to get him would be 2. You can't risk trying to trade the 4.
Sports. Jets schedule a private workout with Josh Allen.
This is it. If you want Josh Allen, you're probably going to have to trade to 2 with the Giants, which makes that Jets trade that much more ingenious because if the Bills really want their star, now you force them to liquidate their arsenal even more so to go up to get him than they would have otherwise. So it was a doubly smart move by the Jets.
Kaepernick's actually from Milwaukee, Vitalis.
Yes, I believe that's right.
Yeah. Kaepernick is from Milwaukee. Played college football at Nevada.
At Nevada, yeah, but he's from Milwaukee.
Not from the Bay Area, though, Kaepernick. He's actually from
Wisconsin.
Which was funny when they said that, he wouldn't fit in with the Green Bay Packers. And remember, there was a picture of him with the fucking Brett Favre shirt.
And of course, he's from Milwaukee.
Yeah, he grew up a Brett Favre and Packer fan.
I mean, I think we have to come to the acceptance now, right or wrong, and it's probably wrong, that he's just not going to get signed by anybody.
What, Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah.
No, his football career's done.
His career's over. As much as it's a shame, and he should have been signed, and I still think he could play. Listen, if Brandon Whedon can get a job, he's better than Brandon Whedon. It's a shame, but these things.
He was blackballed, and
he was blackballed.
It was a mutual blackball.
I mean, we've seen this in sports before.
He was blackballed, and he said, "Bring it on." There wasn't once that Colin Kaepernick ever called a team or had his agent call a team and said, "Listen, Colin wants to talk to you guys and sit down." And explain and, say, listen, I'm not this, I'm not that, I want to play for you. He didn't do that.
He was a pretty good ways down the road with the Ravens, wasn't he? Weren't he and the Ravens pretty close at one point?
They called him, yeah. I think he would have taken a deal, but I don't think he wasn't begging anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
He wasn't. He's got $40 million. That's supposedly what he has, like his personal wealth that he has left over. $40 million. He's not really a crazy dude like with money and shit. I mean, he's giving most of his money away, actually. I don't really think he wants to play, to be honest with you, that much.
Hey, if you cut me a $40 million check, I could not play too.
That's the thing, right?
I mean, that's not legacy money, but you can live very comfortably, and your kids can live comfortably on $40 million.
I don't think, though, Kaepernick really loved the game. You know what I mean?
Maybe
when Kaepernick was good and stuff when he was with San Francisco, I remember they said that he was sort of he was distant from everybody all the time.
Right.
That it was strange that he wasn't really a quarterback leader per se, that he was a good athlete and shit. Like I said, like even in the San Francisco days, I remember players saying, I sort of get the feeling he doesn't really like football. He's just he's just here. You know what I mean?
He's just a mercenary, yeah.
Where he was good, he got thrust into it. I mean, I don't think he thought, look, dude, he was the quarterback in Nevada. He went in like the 4th round type shit, right? He was an afterthought at the combine and the draft and shit. And it was Jim Harbaugh that fucking saw something in the kid. He was good, man.
I mean, listen, if Crabtree had had the pass interference call against him called the Super Bowl, everything changed. The whole NFL changes.
He should have ran the fucking ball for the love of God. Well, but I understand. I'm a Michigan fan. And
that one play changed the course of NFL history. Harbaugh is.
You have Frank fucking Gore. You have the best offensive line of football at the time. And you have Colin Kaepernick, and you have 1st and goal at the 4 fucking yard line. And you throw the ball 3 out of 4 fucking.
I agree.
Like, for the love of fucking God.
You scored.
The time you ran it, you gave it to the dickhead kid from Oregon, the little kid. Fuck. What's his fucking name?
Blunt?
No, it wasn't Blunt. It was fucking he's fucking he's in the NFL. I brought him up the other day. Fuck. What's the fucking kid's name? Fuck. I don't really want to relive it. I lost a lot of money on that play. Kenyon Barner. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, Kenyon Barner. Okay.
I think it was Barner. It was Barner or one of the other fucking little running backs from the Oregon Ducks at the time. There.
If they had scored the touchdown there, Kaepernick's still in the league. Harbaugh never goes to Michigan. He's still a San Francisco 49ers head coach. The whole league changes completely. Joe Flacco would have been gone 3 years ago.
I know.
The Ravens would have a new quarterback. The Ravens would be really deep. The whole NFL, there's probably no play in the last 10 years more consequential than that not being a touchdown for the 49ers.
Yeah. He's done it. He's done it. He's done it. He did the same thing with Michigan. Like we've lost like 2-3 games with Michigan where we're on the 2-yard line. Remember against Ohio State and shit? It's like a shit show. Fuck. Like, I don't know what it is with Harbaugh inside the 5-yard line, but it just hits the wall all the time. But Tim, it's getting a little late here. I know you're an hour ahead as well, so we appreciate you joining us. But before we get you out of here, at least you got one team that's still alive, Tim. When you consider not everyone can be as successful as Michigan.
Yeah.
With the with the basketball, and congratulations to the women gymnastics team, Big Ten champions, and of course the Frozen Four. But it's Michigan versus Notre Dame tomorrow night in the Frozen Four.
Is it? I don't fall. The one thing about the Notre Dame hockey helmets is that they look just like the football helmets, and they're very cool. The glittering gold ones. I mean, that's when you're Notre Dame, all you need is gold, because gold and you are synonymous with success and victory. So you don't need any cheap decals or logos on your helmets.
You guys got cheap helmets, gold plated, fake gold plated.
Yeah, it's real gold. It's Notre Dame. It's real gold. I don't know. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I've watched the Frozen Four in a long time. So
I'm very disappointed in you.
What have I done now?
Well, I figured the Frozen Four would be something you're into. I mean,
now I follow this time of year. I need to almost decompress for a couple of weeks because hockey and basketball playoffs are starting, and that is a grind. And baseball's starting. But this week between the regional finals and the Final Four is a good chance just to decompress, because the Masters are coming, and the world. And I mean, I will tell you now, because I might not be on before that, Tiger Woods is my pick to win the Masters. I guarantee a Tiger Woods victory at the Masters. The Frozen Four is just not on my radar.
Did you just guarantee Tiger Woods is winning the Masters?
Yeah, I did. That's who I'll be picking to win the Masters.
All right, so
and I'm not a Tiger fan. I'm a Phil fanatic. Phil's my favorite player of all time, but I do think Woods will win.
Frozen 4. Yeah, next Thursday. My bad. No, sorry. Yeah, this Thursday. I'm just looking.
Today, the 29th?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm bad with dates. What's the fucking date today?
Thursday, the 29th is technically what today is, because it's now Thursday.
All right, sorry. So Thursday night game is actually Ohio State and Duluth. Big Ten rocket. See, Thursday night, Minnesota, Duluth, Ohio State. No lineup. I thought there was a lineup. No line. Old man saying it's next week. I see it's this week, old man.
I don't know.
I'm seeing Friday the 29th. Let's see. All right, Tim.
Very good. Have a happy Easter, and have a good holiday.
Oh yeah. Happy Easter, Tim. We'll be watching. We'll be around. We'll be online. So feel free to hop in at any time.
We will. Go Ramblers.
All right. There's Tim Anderson. Yeah, you know what? The Sportsbook is wrong. The Sportsbook has it listed for this Thursday, but old man, as usual, is correct. Next Thursday, April the 5th. The XL Energy Center, St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul and Minneapolis. Well, St. Paul, Minnesota. They're playing just in St. Paul, yeah. Minnesota, Duluth versus Ohio State, Michigan versus Notre Dame. Tomorrow night, we've got the NIT. Lakers win 103-93. 111-99 Phoenix tonight. Clippers win 111-99, so they do get the cover. And, of course, Boston came back and won outright. So, yeah, we'll take a quick break here. LV Joe, yeah, you can get in if you want. PayPal sent to this. Tiger's not winning the Masters. Houston Open picks tomorrow. Listen, fuck. I never win with my golf picks. So what does it matter who I like? But the guy, I think Jordan Spieth wins. .com. Settle down, Ramsey. .com. Yeah. If you punch in CIM, yeah, it might take you somewhere else. No, it isn't Big Will. I know what I'm doing with that. 990. I had a Gmail 990, and I don't know. I couldn't get back into it. I had to create a new one on the fly, so I did 999. $990 is my Hotmail. 990 is my Hotmail. 9990 is my Gmail. All right, so are you on Twitter, LV Joe? Yeah, my two picks this week are Matt Kuchar and Jordan Spieth. All right, it's sent, says LV Joe, but Yeah, no, that's me. So, I mean, put a message, give me your email, or tell me who you want to take. You got to give your pick before the series starts. You got to give your pick before the series starts. So yeah, you know what? Or you could email me at that email address your pick as well. What I'm going to do tomorrow, once it's all organized and we know everyone that's in it, I'm going to create a mass email list, and I'm just going to tell people, send your pick to this email. Fuck. Oh, everyone's going to take the LA Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to be the popular play. So we're up to 12 people now. We're up to 12 people now, I believe. So you're going with the Dodgers. All right. It's documented. It's documented. Dodgers. The Toronto Blue Jays have lost 6 straight season openers, I guess, or home openers. I think the Blue Jays are a live dog tomorrow. We'll give you our baseball bets. We'll take a quick break here. We'll give you our baseball bets here on the other side.
Current stop on his comeback tour is Spring League in Texas, trying to impress NFL scouts. Made no bones about it, that's the league he wants to be playing in again. He's also declared if it doesn't work out, he's open to playing in Canada. Our Dave Naylor told the quarterback on Wednesday.
Day one practice at the Spring League with Don Manziel. How do you feel up there? Oh, good. I think there's a lot of guys that you're not going to talk to the last couple months. I think it's good to get on the quarterback. I'll talk to all the guys, get together. Quarterbacks are the people out here for this week. Short setting. 7 days of practice, get into a game. We're going to be able to really make it. How much do you follow the Canadian game? How much do you know about it? I have a lot of this stuff. I've talked to all my boys that no stops really. There's no joke. Not the NFL. It's around Canada and United States would obviously agree with that. No stops. I think it's a high enough level to where I can go in. If I do this, I can do that, and see that, and have fun. Do you have enough utility? That is one thing. Your approach coming to Canada, 1,000%. I've been humbled in the process as far as happening 2 years. I went from 2 hours down the road to the Heisman Trophy, to the very bottom of the boat. I know and I realize I don't want any. If I do decide to go play in the CFL, I'm not expecting or wanting anybody to pay me for any time. I realize there's going to be growing pains, there's going to be work, sweat, a lot of hard work to get to where I want to be. So I don't want any candidates. I'm going up there. I realize what situation I put myself in, how hard it's going to be to get back to somewhere, and just because I had the playing game, and I don't want it to be that way. I want to work and earn it. That's my way.
When Morency, here's the
It was day one of practice for the spring league. Matt Duncan, what was your impression of Johnny Manziel? He's swinging around just like he was here today. I can tell you, this guy really, he had to, because he had 8 other quality quarterbacks on the football field this afternoon. It was supposed to be a very light throw-around session. Got very competitive. I saw Johnny Manziel step up. Balls coming out on rhythm and timing. Only thing there is he had a couple of receivers that stepped just a little bit, but Johnny was able to just hold on to the football and then knife it in there when he had to. But I saw Johnny going in rhythm and timing, and it looked outstanding. You and I got a much more up close and personal look at Johnny Manziel today. He came over and spoke to us on the sidelines before practice, and when he was done, you and I were along with him, just chatting, getting an impression of where he's at. I found him to be humble, very open, very relaxed. What was your impression? Yeah, well, first of all, before he come over and say hello, and I introduced myself, because I know who you are, and I was thinking, yeah, right. And but just the fact that he came over and extended himself to us, I think this is who he is nowadays. In fact, after practice, when I got a chance to chat him, I said, hey, what do you have to work on right now? He says, well, right now, I'm in the best shape I've been since I've won high school. And I said, whoa. I said, that's awesome. And he says, yeah, I feel great. He says, I'm 6 foot 203 pounds. And I said, is there one thing you want to put on? And he says, well, maybe just put on a little bit more size, but another 5 pounds. So that's going to be his focus once the spring league ends. He's got about a month time there to lick a few wounds from this and to get ready for a possible stint in Canadian football. Could be the Hamilton Tiger Cats and their general manager, Eric Tillman, arrives in Austin, Texas to have a first-hand look at Johnny Manziel starting on Friday.
SportsCenter loads process. ULB leads the game after 3 changes. Once LeBron says he should be the MVP, and then he backs up the top on the court. And Carl Anthony Towns torches the Hawks. He says Benson was connected during a late-night video game session. Details next.
At Burger King, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $2.99. They're crispy and delicious and made with tender seasoned white meat. You're gonna flip over this deal. Get 10 nuggets for just $2.99, only at Burger King.
From coast to coast, Canada is known for having some of the most challenging golf courses in the world. But what makes a golf course truly challenging? Is it length, design, location? Join me, Bob Weeks, as we travel across the country this season, discovering the legacy of Canada.
What's up with that fucking Australian basketball playoffs? Saturday night, which is Friday night, actually. All right. I don't know, man. How long does it fucking take to play these games? Fuck. All right. We appreciate everybody joining us here this evening. Another quality program. Thanks to Babano for joining us on the show. I do like Joanna. I look forward to the UFC card next week. Surprisingly enough, Google Hangouts didn't give us any issues this evening. So we'll leave you some baseball plays. We're going to be on tomorrow night during the baseball games. NIT tomorrow night. Penn State are laying 4 to Utah. Seems a little bit high, and the total feels a little low. That's my initial reaction right now. Point spread feels high. Total feels low. Utah and Penn State. Utah get 4. Over under 134.5. Penn State minus 180 on the money line. Utah Utes plus 160 on the money line. NIT final tomorrow night. But baseball starts in the morning. First game up, John Lester and Jose Urena. John Lester and the Cubs are now minus 210. The Marlins are plus 175. I was flirting with the idea of taking the Marlins in the first 5, but I don't want to force things. Pittsburgh and Detroit, pass. Cardinals and Mets. I was seriously considering taking the St. Louis Cardinals at plus 125, but there's just not enough value. Syndergaard is a good pitcher when healthy. I'm going to pass on that. Minnesota Twins and Baltimore, pass. Houston Astros and Texas Rangers. Verlander and Hamels. I don't like laying 70 cents, but it's hard not to like Houston here. New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays. Listen, I think the Yankees, I think all these teams that are really hyped coming into the year, everyone's going to bet on them and expect them to win their opening game and stuff, and they might not. Like, the Yankees are an example of this. I think the Blue Jays are a live dog tomorrow. I'm going to take the Jays. Houston are like the only favorite I like. That's not true. I like one other favorite in the games that I like tomorrow. But, yeah, give me the Houston Astros in the afternoon. Give me the Toronto Blue Jays plus 135 in the afternoon. I'm going to keep the dog train barking here. Boston Red Sox at Tampa Bay. Ooh, Boston this, Boston that, Chris Sale. Yeah, whatever. It's all good. Chris Sale's good, but so is Chris Archer. Tampa on the whole opening day here, plus 155. I think we've got a live dog with the Tampa Bay Rays. The other favorite I do like, I like the Angels tomorrow to beat the Athletics. I'll lay 135 on the road. And then after that, I like the Chicago White Sox, plus 140. I like the Seattle Mariners, plus 150 tomorrow night. We'll be on the air. That game starts at 10:10, so we'll be on. We'll cap that game for a couple of minutes before it starts. We got 2 late-night baseball games tomorrow. So, yeah, those are the games that I've got on my eye right now. I'll lock in my official picks tomorrow, obviously, but that's what I'm looking at now. Houston Astros, minus 170. Toronto Blue Jays, plus 135. Tampa Bay Rays, plus 155. LA Angels, minus 135. Chicago White Sox, plus 140. Seattle Mariners, plus 150. So how many picks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks. 6 picks. 4 of the 6 picks pay 135 or better. Like, basically, if I go 3-3 tomorrow, I'm going to be plus units. I don't like laying favorites too much in baseball. 70 cents is sort of my cutoff. I'm a Dodger fan. And listen, they got Clayton Kershaw against Tide Block. It's minus 280. San Francisco are going to be better this year. It's a rivalry. The Giants and the Dodgers just are always close games no matter what. The Dodgers are good parlay material, though, tomorrow. They'll win the game with Kershaw. They're minus 1.5, minus 140, minus 280. Could parlay them with, basketball, actually. Look, I'm a Michigan fan, so I could get that out of the way. LA Dodgers. Michigan Wolverine parlay, minus 117. Throw Villanova in here, plus 166. Dodgers, Michigan, Villanova parlay, plus 166. Scott Ramsey, you're pulling the trigger on the Jays to go under 8.5 tomorrow. Thanks, Hill Country. Yeah, I'm looking at the underdogs tomorrow. You know, with the exception of the Houston Astros minus 170 and the Angels minus 135. So look, I got 6 baseball picks. 4 of them are big dogs, right? So if we could go 2-2 with the dogs, you know, we're going to win money. And I'm not forcing picks either. These are the ones that sort of stick out to me. Houston Astros minus 170, Toronto Blue Jays plus 135, Tampa Bay Rays plus 155, Angels minus 135, White Sox plus 140. And yeah, I know Corey Kluber's good, but we got King Felix in, at home, season opener, getting plus 150. I'll take my chances with the Mariners. Let's just put together a parlay here and see what my baseball parlay would. This is if we play every baseball game I like tomorrow. Houston Astros to win, Blue Jays to win, Rays to win, Angels to win, White Sox to win, Mariners to win. Motherfucker. It's a 99 to 1 parlay. $10 pays $994. 100 pays $9,940. This is what we were talking about. I don't have the balls to do it or the bankroll to do it. I'll play a little parlay here, but this is what we were talking about. I should almost just jump in and fucking do it. We were talking about being like the bookie killer. That's how you do it. Fuck. You got to have patience and kind of bite the bullet and get screwed. Oh, I won 5 or 6 and shit like that a few times. But I mean, look, if we did this type of parlay every night, $100 to win fucking $10,000, it would give us 100 days of leeway. You would have to lose 100 days, you know what I mean? Like for it not to work out. Let's say, you play $100 parlay even for the first 10 days of the season, a sample, $1,000. You hit one of them, fuck, you won $10K. $25, this pays $2,500. $10, $994. Yeah. OBJ. Yeah, hedging opportunities, like you said, going into the night. Gabe, the Mets have the pitcher batting 8 tomorrow. I don't have a problem with that, actually. I don't have a problem with that, Vitalist, to be honest with you. You know, you want, how many times, like, you'd be better off, with a better hitter in a 9-hole getting on base for your fucking, your 1, 2, and 3 hitters, as opposed to sort of that, just sort of dead zone all the time. I know, Van Fob. That's why I have a hard time doing it. I never win 16 parlays. Listen, 6 is a little excessive. We should get it down to 4 and shit, but yeah, guys, listen, I'm not betting big units or anything tomorrow. We'll ease into the season here, but we're going to take the underdogs, like I said. Houston Astros minus 170, Toronto Blue Jays plus 135, Tampa Bay Rays plus 155, Angels minus 135, White Sox plus 140, Mariners plus 150. There's our baseball 6-pack for you. I should start doing some round robins. And like I said, tomorrow night we got the NIT final. I'm leaning with the Utah Utes plus the 4 and the over 134.5. But it'll be nice. Hey, tomorrow night we'll have a new sport in the rotation, and we'll watch the Cleveland-Seattle game. Tomorrow night we'll watch the Cleveland-Seattle game together, along with the NBA. I don't know if you heard Johnny Manziel's voice in the back, but they're talking about Manziel and the CFL and shit. CFL season's not that far off, actually, which is cool, too. Just thinking about that. CFL season starts, I think, June 14th. Mid-June, so 2.5 months. Not bad. We're getting close to the time of the year, like Babano said. NHL playoffs start 2 weeks from tonight. NBA playoffs start in 2.5 weeks on that Saturday after the Wednesday, the NHL playoffs. CFL season around the corner. I plan on doing, I'm going to go to a lot of Argo games this year, actually. So we'll do some shows after. We'll have a couple of parties and stuff. Manziel's not a tie cat yet. Well, he is they have his rights, but he hasn't signed yet. He's delusional. He thinks an NFL team's going to pick him up, but I think he'll probably end up with Hamilton, to be honest. I don't know, man. He just did an interview. I saw him, and they were like, oh, he was very humble and nice guy and stuff, but I think he's a good actor, I think. He did look pretty healthy, though. I'll give him that. Warning for you Bet365 players, actually. I just said, it says that they're doing maintenance on the site. Maintenance coming up on the site, but there's nothing going on now anyways, guys. There's no late night action for you. Unless you want to bet on fucking India woman versus cricket. England woman, cricket. Big scandal. Hey, the Australians were cheating. We'll fucking call Mick out on that later in the week. You got some esports that I don't know anything about. I know League of Legends a bit. I don't know Dota. You got Greyhound racing. You got the Chinese National Championship of fucking under 20 handball going on. And you got a bunch of fucking tennis. Fuck. Lowbrow tennis. ITF woman, Kofu. See you later, Vitalis, Sandacock, Lucas, Daniel, Chris Edge, Alan Action, Blaker, Trade Day, Grab a Mex, Lebowski. Good to see you, Lebowski. LV Joe. LV Joe Dodgers in the survivor pool. Blaker, Scott Ramsey, Alan Action, Natural Factor. Want subscribers and return of subscribers. Tony Sincata, Hill Country, Van Fob, Druzilla. I didn't see Bruce Chat. Where's Bruce Chat at? Bruce Chat on the chat tonight? For shame, Bruce. Yeah, we appreciate everybody joining us here this evening. Thanks, Lebowski. Thanks, Razor. Thanks, everyone else. Thanks, Big Will. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Ted Savransky will step up, and then baseball's back. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.